Hey everybody, we're live, and in approximately 9 minutes, the special meeting of the Oakland City Council will commence to install our new Oakland City Council members, City Attorney, Oakland School Board members. And so as we wait for that, I will point out that we are here waiting. And this is the first ever virtual broadcast or meeting, if you will, of the Oakland City Council ever done before. Let's see, I'm putting out hashtag Oak meeting. Hashtag Oakland. Hashtag Livestream. Hashtag Zoom. Who cares about the Zoom part? Okay, hashtag California. What else am I missing? I think we got all the, hashtag CA politics. Yes, that one. Okay. So while we're waiting, I think Oakland City Council President Rebecca Kaplan has, well, wait a minute, before I get to that, let me get this up here. Say live. There. And where else? Seven minutes. Say live. Group. What am I doing here? Okay. There. And where else? I'm posting this in different places so that people will know that we're alive. Even if it's just one person. So let's see here. We're there. Where else can I put it? Share. Group. Let's see. Nope. Alameda today. No. Oakland. Where else? Wow. Try to figure out where else to put this thing. Where else to put this thing? Oh. Maxwell Park. Right. Okay. I don't think we've shared it around. As far as the start, it's supposed to start at 11 o'clock, Monday, January 4th, which is today. And the city will virtually host the inauguration of the newly re-elected Oakland Councilmembers, City Attorney, and Directors of the Board of Education, as I said. The inauguration ceremony will be followed by the appointment of the 2021 Council President, Vice Mayor, President Pro Tempore, and Council committees. So there's been a lot of politicking going on already. Congratulations to Councilmembers Noel Gaiu and Dan Kalb, District 5 and District 1 respectively, and Councilmember-elect Carroll Fife, District 3, and Treva Reid, District 7, on their victories, and to the newly elected Oakland Unified School District board members Sam Davis, VanCedric Williams, Mike Hutchinson, and Clifford Thompson. Okay. So the agenda, I believe, was posted here. And let's see, I will open it with Firefox. Just did that. And in the special meeting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this agenda to the description. At the bottom of the description, of the video description. So I'll move this over here. 3 minutes we start. Agenda. There. Stay tuned. Okay. And I'm saving that. And I believe the Oakland News Now version is up. So I need to go to the Oakland News Now version real quick and install it. These council members take over and in some cases resume their positions in the middle of the most challenging time in this city's history. We have, as you know, the pandemic. We have many people, scores of people dying. It's very sad, very sad. And seemingly with these new strains of the virus coming up, no way out of this. It just seems like it's getting worse. It's like it's like the world's nightmare, or at least the industrial world's nightmare, because what seemed to be a few people now is many. And in the case of the United States, about 6% of the population, according to my calculations, has the virus. And it's not showing any signs of going down. And yet nobody can tell us just how he got into this mess. You know what I mean? Just how he got into this mess. It's just wild, to say the least. Wild. So any second now they'll be starting. I'm actually making an adjustment to the Oakland News Now version, and I'll close that down so I'll have more RAM to deal with. And we'll be on our way. Let's see while that's going. Now, let's see here. Post attendee Zoom. There's the meeting agenda, which I already noted up. So I will get rid of that table. Actually, I'll keep it up. Yeah. So we have, what I'll do is I'll post the agenda. This is 2 o'clock now. So we should be starting. Let's see here. Zoom, StreamYard, Firefox. Yeah, okay, there's that. And here is the updated entry there. Okay. And that updated. It's 2:01. So why are we not starting? Let me see something here. This meeting agenda. Video indicator, video details. Okay, let me get rid of that.
City Clerk, and I will be facilitating this ceremony. We thank you for your presence today at the City of Oakland's first Zoom inauguration of the City Council members and the OUSD School Board members. Just to give you a summary of the program today, we will be starting with opening remarks from Mayor Libby Shaft. After that, we will begin the oath of offices for City Attorney, City Council members, and the School Board members. After your oath of office, you will be given 5 minutes to give brief comments, and then we will move into the special meetings of the City Council and the Oakland Unified School District. So without further ado, I introduce Mayor Libby Shaft.
Good morning and thank you. What an honor to welcome you all to the 2021 inauguration ceremony for the City of Oakland. And first and foremost, like with any new year, let us begin with gratitude. And today, our gratitude is not just for our new and renewed leaders, but for the family, the friends, the supporters who helped get them to this day. Thank you, family, friends, and supporters, for loving those who love service, for loving those who love Oakland, her people, and especially her children. If there is one thing in my 22 years in local politics, and actually yesterday marked my 10th anniversary as an elected official, that I have learned, it is that running for office is hard and governing is harder. And so family, friends, and supporters, your work has just started. That energy that you put into getting your candidates elected or re-elected has got to continue to support them during the hard work ahead, the difficult decisions, sometimes unpopular decisions that will need to be made, especially in a year like this. 2021 will not be an easy year. It is where the cumulative effects of this global pandemic on our health and our economy will come to rest. It will be a year of digging out from tragedy and trying to keep our community, our beloved community, together and unified. So please, don't stop supporting those people you fought so hard to get to this day. They will need all your love and support in these months to come. I was very much struck recently in reading an op-ed by George Schultz on his 100th birthday. Someone who has been a long-standing public servant, someone I haven't always agreed with, but who I have tremendous respect for. And I'll read just a small quote from this op-ed. He writes, "One lesson I learned early and then relearned over and over. Trust is the coin of the realm. When trust is in the room, whatever room that was, the family room, the school room, the locker room, the office room, the government room, good things happened. When trust was not in the room, good things did not happen. Everything else is details." And so I ask that as we, as the new City of Oakland leadership family, and we are a family, go forward. We ask ourselves each day, what can we do to build trust within our family? We are now a family that doesn't always have to agree, that doesn't always even have to like each other, but will always love each other. We are bounded by love, that love of public service, that love of our community. I want to welcome back our real leaders, and since we're a family, I'm just going to call you out by first names. Barbara, Rebecca, Dan, and Noel, congratulations on your re-election. And then I want to welcome new colleagues, new family members to our fold, and that's Carroll and Treva to the Oakland City Council, and to the Oakland School Board, Sam, VanCedric, Mike, and Cliff. It is an honor to be part of your family, to work together for that ideal of public service and our love of this city. We have a new government in a new year, and I, for one, cannot tell you how proud we should be to lead these two organizations, the Oakland Unified School District and the City of Oakland government, that I believe exemplify the best of public service. Our employees have worked under tremendous risk, under so much uncertainty, but with so much love, dedication, resilience, and persistence for the ideals that brought us to public service to begin with. I like to call us the Silver Lining City. Finding the silver linings in this tragedy have been part of our ethos as Oaklanders. And I'll end my welcoming remarks with this quote that I love, that is really about this moment we find ourselves in. And everything I know about each and every one of you, my family members, is that you bring this vision with you to this moment. I leave you with this quote from Indian author Arundhati Roy. In the midst of this terrible despair, this pandemic offers us a chance to rethink the doomsday machine we have built for ourselves. Nothing could be worse than a return to normalcy. Historically, pandemics have forced humans to break with the past and imagine their world anew. This one is no different. It is a portal, a gateway between one world and the next. We can choose to walk through it, dragging the carcasses of our prejudice and hatred, our avarice, our data banks and dead ideas, our dead rivers and smoky skies behind us. Or, and I know family, this is what you are here for, or we can walk through lightly with little luggage, ready to imagine another world and ready to fight for it. I know that I am ready to fight alongside each and every one of you. Welcome everyone to the 2021 inauguration for the City of Oakland. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Mayor Schaaf, for those warm, welcoming remarks. Next, we will move into the oath of office, starting with City Attorney Barbara Parker. I ask that at this time that all other panelists turn their cameras off, and City Attorney Parker, please turn your camera on. And before I begin, administer your oath, I'd like to make sure that you can hear me. So Barbara, can you hear me?
I can, and my camera's on.
Thank you very much. I see you and I can hear you as well.
Okay.
So upon administering the oath of office, you will affirm by saying, I do. And can you please raise your right hand?
I have it raised. Can you see it?
Yes, ma'am, I can see you. Thank you.
Usually it'd be further to the right.
Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of California, and the Charter of the City of Oakland, and will truly and to the best of your ability perform the duties of City Attorney, City of Oakland?
I do.
Thank you so much and congratulations. And at this time, you will have 5 minutes to give remarks.
Now this is weird. That's my photo and not my face. Do you guys have my live face? Because on my screen, I'm just seeing a photo.
We can still see your face too as well. It's both.
Right. So greetings and happy 2021 to everyone. 8 years ago, I stood before you and took the oath of office for my first term as Oakland's city attorney, Oakland's elected city attorney, and the first African-American woman elected to citywide office with an equal measure of humility and awe. Today, as I begin my third term as Oakland's elected city attorney, I'm excited and honored to continue my work on Oakland's behalf. I ran for re-election for a third term because I'm committed to continuing my work to ensure economic, social, environmental, and racial justice, and importantly, equity. I have many irons in the fire and want to see them through to fruition. So I just want to give you some highlights of what we're doing and what we've done and what I'm excited about continuing. One, we have our lawsuits and our legislation protecting tenants' rights and fighting for housing justice, including the emergency moratorium on evictions during COVID-19, the Fair Chance Access to Housing Ordinance, the Tenant Protection Ordinance amendments, our work for affordable housing that has brought nearly 200 new units to Oakland, and numerous pending lawsuits to protect tenants by going after abusive landlords. Two, we have our lawsuits and our legislation fighting for environmental and racial justice and equity. This ranges from fighting local polluters like a debris hauling company in West Oakland that discharged dangerous dust into the residential neighborhood. From that, we have also the battle to address climate change. Global fossil fuel titans have destroyed our environment and we're going after them. We call them big oil. And we're also continuing our fight in court to ban coal at Oakland's port. Three, we're working to fight human trafficking and protecting public health and safety in many ways. We shut down 25 massage parlors that were fronts for human trafficking, and we recovered approximately $1 million. And we are suing pharmaceutical manufacturers for promoting opioid addiction and dependence that disproportionately harms Black Oaklanders. Our work on police accountability and reform, and including reimagining policing, is critical as well. I personally worked on the legislation that created the Police Commission and the CPRA in 2016. And then I worked on the legislation to expand the commission's independence and powers. I endorsed it, I supported it, and as a result of its passage, both the commission and the CPRA can now, in compliance with the charter, independently hire their own attorneys. Our work fighting racial discrimination and securing equity includes prosecuting Wells Fargo for predatory, discriminatory mortgage lending practices against Black and Latinx borrowers. And we also won a minimum wage lawsuit against an Oakland hotel for violations of Oakland's minimum wage ordinance. Our work supporting the incredible people who toil every day for the city of Oakland to serve all of our residents and neighbors continues on a day-to-day basis as we provide excellent legal advice and counsel and defend the city when it's sued. This last year, we justly resolved nearly 3/4 of claims and 79% of lawsuits for $0, and only 2.6% of lawsuits resulted in payouts of $100,000 or more. But we're not stopping there. There's so much more work to be done, and I'm eager to lead that work. In my third term, I look forward to building our Housing Justice Initiative, which we launched in 2020 to expand our work to secure housing justice and affordable housing. And I look forward to continuing to expand our affirmative litigation practice to protect and advance the rights of all Oaklanders. This division includes our community lawyering and civil rights unit and our award-winning neighborhood law corps. And we have prosecuted and are continuing to prosecute many groundbreaking and important lawsuits against those who harm or would seek to harm our communities, our rights, our democracy, and our planet. But I do not do this work alone, and none of us does this work alone. And I do want to, at this moment, tell you how much I appreciate and express my heartfelt gratitude to all of those who have given me the opportunity to do this work and provided me this honor. Thank you, Oakland voters, for your affirmation and your faith in me and for this opportunity. I received more than 80% of the more than 175,000 votes that were cast. Thank you to my lean, mean city attorney team. I want to express my gratitude and appreciation to the attorneys and support staff for their hard work and their commitment. My presence on this virtual stage is a tribute to you. I want to thank my parents who are no longer in this realm, James Parker Sr. and Savannah Parker, who have left for, I hope, a better world that they're in, for their extraordinary sacrifice, their love, the values and goals they instilled in me and my 3 siblings. They have guided me and continue to inspire and motivate me every day. I must also acknowledge and thank my daughter, Savannah, and my grandson, Pro Tempore, who is 9 years old. They are extraordinary in every way. Savannah, her son, Coda, my second grandson, KJ, who was born in April during the pandemic, and her husband drove down from Seattle to support me and be present on Election Day. Thank you to my dear siblings, Betty Barker, Josephine Barker, and my brother, Dr. James Adam Barker, for being a constant source of support and encouragement. To my nieces, nephews, cousins, and the Barker and Peoples clans across the country, my Delta Sigma Theta sisters, and my dear friends who have traveled this life with me, thank you for supporting me and keeping it real, always telling me the truth. And I must thank my stellar campaign consultant, Doug Lenny, and his team, and everyone who has worked on my campaigns for their efforts and trust. Finally, I also want to thank the mayor, the council, the city administrator, the city administration, the people of Oakland for our partnership in the groundbreaking and progressive work that we have done together, and on behalf of the people of Oakland. I was honored to receive the endorsement of the majority of the council and our mayor, a broad cross-section of other local officials, state elected officials, labor, civil rights, tenant, and environmental groups. So as I stand here today, I have a deep appreciation of the magnitude of the responsibility of this office, which is especially consequential during these unprecedented times as we grapple with a worldwide pandemic, America's reckoning with systemic racism and the Black Lives Matter movement and the need for police accountability and reform, and the urgency of addressing the existential threat of climate change. This pandemic magnifies the disparities and inequities resulting from systemic racism, poverty, and the legacies of African enslavement in this country. It has laid bare the necessity of recognizing that housing and healthcare are human rights. As a result of the Black Lives Matter movement and the murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and so many others at the hands of police officers, our larger society is reckoning with, and we have the opportunity. I think this is an extraordinary and special moment that we must seize to address racial injustice, systemic racism, and to reimagine policing. I and members of our team are excited about the opportunity to work with the city administration and the task force on reimagining policing. Recognizing the gravity of our circumstances and the sacred trust that the voters have placed in me and all of us as elected officials, I pledge that I will do all I can to right the ship and to seize the opportunities to take strides toward making economic, social, racial, and environmental justice reality. Finally, I recognize that we greet this new year with mixed emotions. We rejoice because in about 2 weeks, Trump's lawless tenure will end and we'll have grown-ups, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, taking office. Grown-ups who have empathy and compassion and care about the people of Oakland and this country and our world. But regardless of what occurs at the federal level, I believe it is our responsibility to rededicate ourselves to fight for and champion the America we all cherish. At moments like these, and unfortunately, there have been a number of such moments during the last 4 years and even the last 4 days when I feel dispirited. I remind myself that my parents, grandparents, ancestors fought against what appeared to be insurmountable odds to abolish slavery, to end legalized segregation and Jim Crow, and to secure voting rights, sacrificing their very lives for the causes of freedom and justice. So in their memory, and to honor them, we must join together to continue the fight to preserve our freedoms and secure justice. Together, I have no doubt that we can and will rise to the challenge. The voters and the votes that elected me were a vote of confidence I believe in the work of my office and our steadfast integrity. I look forward to rolling up my sleeves and working to make our great city even better. Thank you, Oakland. Onward.
Thank you so much for those comments. Next, we will move into the oath of office for the elected council members, and I will do those concurrently. You will, upon administer of the oath, you will affirm by saying, "I do." You will raise your right hand. After your oath is given, you too will be given the 5 minutes to give remarks. And I ask that you please try to stay within the time frame, and there is a time clock in the bottom of the slide. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of California, and the Charter of the City of Oakland, and will truly and to the best of your ability perform the duties of the City Council Member District 1, City Council Member District 3, City Council Member District 5, City Council Member District 7, and City Council Member at Large?
I will.
I do.
I do.
I do.
Council Member Fife?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
I do.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to you all. We will begin with comments starting with District 1. Councilmember Kalb.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Greetings to everyone today, especially our newly elected council members and school board members. I want to first thank some people for their work over the past number of years and then some. First, my hardworking staff, Deirdre, Lisa, and Seth, as well as Olga, who will be coming back onto my staff in a full-time capacity this year. Our city staff, our entire city staff, including everyone from the mayor and city administrator onto staff in every single city department. I thank them for their work day in, day out, week in and week out for the people of Oakland. And thanks, of course, to my campaign team who helped me get to a third term here. Doug, Janine, Peter, Donald, and Kathy, along with the many volunteers who helped get the word out. I also want to give my humble thanks to the other D1 candidates, Stephanie Walton and Tri No, who put themselves out there, shared their ideas, and kept me on my toes. And of course, I thank the D1 voters who returned me to office for a third council term. And most importantly, I want to thank my wife, Valerie, who's right here, for her steadfast support, advice, and love that she has given me day in and day out for many years, not just as a council member, but long before that as well. So thank you, Valerie. Love you very much. It's an understatement to say that 2020 has been a year like no other. A pandemic that has taken the lives of tens of thousands of people in our state and nearly 350,000 nationwide and counting, and led to serious economic impacts throughout the East Bay and across the country, across the whole planet. Of course, as well, the murder of George Floyd and so many others over the years and decades that has sparked and bolstered a nationwide movement to reform and rethink policing and violence prevention, and the growing population of homeless residents whose needs are not yet fully being met, to say the least. Not to mention a serious climate crisis that impacts and can impact all of us in Oakland and well beyond. And here's hoping, of course, that 2021 will bring positive change. But locally, we can't just hope for change. We have to make it happen. It likely will require lobbying and working closely with our federal, state, and regional partners, but we must do what we can here locally in our good city. I'm proud of my accomplishments on housing affordability, police oversight and crime prevention, climate justice, government ethics, and so much more. But of course, as we all know, there is much more to do. We must meet our challenges head on and build on our successes, including identifying and creating many many more affordable housing units, especially for people in our city most in need. And as we come out of the pandemic emergency, hopefully sometime later this year, we must ensure that people are not displaced from our city. This includes protecting our renters, as well as doing what it takes to stem off any potential foreclosure crisis. Very serious challenge we have ahead of us. We must not accept as normal the serious crime rate that our residents are enduring this past year. However we may imagine public safety however we may reimagine public safety and violence prevention, it must assist and be consistent with reducing violent crime. That's absolutely critical. And we must do what we can to partner with our school district leaders, our elected school board members who are here with us today, parents, teachers, and students, to help our students throughout every part of our city succeed and make the best of what they can for their futures. And we must do our part to stem the climate crisis locally and do it in a manner that incorporates equity as a centerpiece of our local strategy and be a model for other cities and jurisdictions across the state, across the country. And as we know, we have very serious economic challenges, to say the least, including our own city budget, but also the challenges that people are facing because of the pandemic emergency and the shelter-in-place emergency that we're in right now. We have very difficult choices to make. Seeking additional revenue to maintain and eventually grow city services must be on the table. But even with that, we'll have some difficult choices. And these are choices among options that are no good options. They'll be all bad options that we'll have to make a choice or two within that. As former Justice William Brennan said, former Supreme Court Justice William Brennan said, we must meet the challenge rather than wish it were not before us. Thank you all again. I look forward to working with all my colleagues, the returning colleagues, my new colleagues, the mayor, school board members, stakeholders, advocates, activists, District 1 residents, our entire city to move the situation forward and make progress on the serious challenges we face. Again, thank you for re-electing me. Thank you for being here today. I look forward to the hard work ahead. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Kalb. Next up is District 3 Councilmember Carroll Fife.
Outstanding. First of all, just like everyone else, I have to start by giving thanks to the people who made this possible. And I have to go back and thank my grandparents who are no longer with us, but who are so instrumental in creating a foundation for success and what it looks like to achieve beyond all measure. So I have to thank my grandparents. I have to thank my parents who are back home in the Midwest, who put up with me and who actually helped keep me grounded and help create the foundation for who I am today. I got to thank my siblings who offered me encouragement throughout this process. My family, which is my partner, who is a pillar in Oakland organizing, as well as my children who kept me encouraged and supported throughout this process as well. But nothing can be said about the movement that helped bring me to this moment right now. It is through consistent organizing, being on the ground for over 20 years in this city, fighting for justice, social, racial, and economic justice with my campaign team, with my precinct captains, with organizations and individuals, some of whom are no longer with us today. But the body of organizers and volunteers and supporters and residents of D3 who made this possible, I say to you that I have been committed and I will continue to be committed to fight for what's needed by the most marginalized. And we say this all the time, but I'm gonna explain it a little bit right now, that all of the things that we face, the things that we fight, poverty, structural racism, environmental injustice, gender injustice, all of the things, so many, exist because it is a cumulative effect of state-sanctioned violence. So when we talk about fratricide, when we talk about homicide, when we talk about poverty and housing insecurity and homelessness, We say that all violence is state violence. So if we're going to do something different in these times that are calling us to be our most bold and creative selves, we've got to understand that we've got to undo generations, if not centuries, of injustice. And so we have to take bold stances and create something different that we've never seen before. Because this thing that we sit in was not created for us to succeed. But it is okay, because we are sitting in transformational times. And it will require all of us to pick up the mantle and sacrifice. But the reality is there are large segments of our community that have been sacrificing forever. And equity means that everyone gets a chance and an opportunity to thrive. So that means some of the things that we've seen, we've got to do differently. We've got to create. We've got to be bold. We've got to be fearless in these times. And I will represent, I have, and I will continue to do that transparently, creatively, justly, and fighting for the folks who have not had a voice, who have not had a seat, whose needs, if we address, we will make this city great for everyone. But we've got to start with the people who've been locked out of these systems, period. And the reality is that neoliberalism is a tool that will undo us all if we don't change and stand up and boldly face it. And just like my sister Nina Turner said, I'm going to be a fierce, hell-raising humanitarian for love and for justice. And I need you all to stand with me and continue to do that as you have in this process, because I'm walking into a system that doesn't necessarily see things the way that we see it. But I am joyful, I am excited, I am encouraged by the energy that brought me to this place. And I need you to continue to stand with me, because we have so much to fight for, so much to, and we will do that collectively. We will continue to unite. We will continue to bring people together, and we will create exactly what we need to thrive, all of us. And I love every single person that's put me in this position, and I need you to stay there, and we need to continue to grow this movement. That is how we will win. And I will do that with you all. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for your comments, Councilmember Fife. Next, we will move to Councilmember Gallo from District 5. And Councilmember Gallo, before you make your remarks, can you please affirm your oath one more time, just because it seems the sound was cut off when you said I do. So can you please raise your right hand and affirm the oath by saying I do?
I do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you that have joined us. It's been an honor to serve the City of Oakland in many different ways, from the Oakland Board of Education to the City Council, and certainly working for the city as well. The women surrounding me are my wife, Alisa, my daughter, Amanda, my daughter, Selena, and Gianna, my other daughter. She had to work today, so she's working with Alameda County, and Noah, who is one of the directors with the Native American Health Center, is right now at the testing site, testing people for the COVID-19 issue. And so I want to recognize them, because I am here today due to their support, their leadership, their commitment, and I'm extremely honored and I can't use the words, but I'm extremely honored to have them by my side, supporting me from beginning to end when it came to the political event, but throughout my lifetime. But I also want to recognize growing up here in East Oakland, and what we're seeing, some of the activity in public safety housing is something that we experienced growing up here. I was one that was Section 8, was welfare, and I relied on my neighbor to discipline me, as well as a pastor across the street and so forth, to make sure that I understood the value of education, but most of all, the value of family. And this is something that perhaps in our neighborhood we're missing today. And certainly I want to work to get to that level, but I want to thank my new colleagues on the City Council, Carroll, Treva, and welcome back Rebecca and Dan, and certainly the School Board of Education members, I look forward to continuing to working with you. And I did see Mr. Edgar Rakestraw, our administrative assistant for the board, still on board, and I know him extremely well and value his work. Now, when it comes to the issues that are facing East Oakland, the city of Oakland, and it's not about what you say, but what you do. And that's one of the lessons I've learned from very early in my years here in the city of Oakland. We can talk a lot, make a lot of policy laws, but what's happening here in East Oakland today, and that's impacting primarily the families that are African-American, Latino, and the poor families when it comes to public safety. Public safety is a priority throughout every city in the country. And we need to recognize that, to make sure that our children and families are safe on a daily basis, walking to from work, walking to school and back home. And so we need to stay focused on how do we improve that? Because what I see on a daily basis, since I'm out in the neighborhood cleaning streets, dealing with the homeless encampments, I see many of our new residents coming into the city of Oakland, not showing a whole lot of respect for the city because we're trashing it. And at the same time, I see the violence that is occurring. And I also witness the drug activity, because if I don't pick up 300 needles every Saturday and every Sunday, I didn't pick up enough. And so those are serious mental issues that we need to deal with. And but public safety is a priority if we're going to continue to serve, as we all claim, our children and families. Because I grew up in, if we didn't have 150 killings per year, okay, that was the norm. And right now what I'm seeing, what the norm has become, is that, all right, so I know who the gang members are, and I know who's doing what to whom. And so I think public safety is a priority. Certainly the issue of housing, we need to stay really focused and invest in housing, affordable housing, and dealing with our homeless population that right now has doubled, tripled every time I go out there every weekend. And these are people that are not Oakland residents. Supporting their children. So I want to thank to World Central Kitchen, Costco's, and many others, Salvation Army, and many others that are donating, contributing, that are on my streets on a daily basis, supporting our families, going door to door, and providing those needs that are necessary. But I do want to, end by saying I thank you. I look forward to working for you, with you, and for you. And again, it's not about what we say, but what we do. And I want to end in closing that I want to thank all the volunteers, all the union members, all the small business, all the neighbors and residents that came out to support my candidacy. And I am committed to working with you on a daily basis, from education to public safety, to cleaning our streets. And I thank you. I love you. And I'm proud to be here in Oakland. And let's get to it, and let's get to work. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments, Councilmember Gallo, and congratulations again. Next up, we have District 7 Councilmember Treva Reid.
Good morning, Oakland. Thank you, District 7. Thank you all. It is an awesome day to be here with you in service to the city. I give honor and thanks to God, who certainly called me to step out into this race by faith. I am surrounded by my parents behind me, my magnificent mother, Maureen, my beloved father, Larry, seated here, just have been incredible foundation of faith and support, instilling values in me that have helped to nurture and grow me into this role of serving with integrity, with humility, with endurance, and the qualities of a servant leader that I will continue to grow in. And so I thank you all. I thank the amazing, awesome District 7 voters. You elected me to serve as a champion for our community. I'm grateful for this opportunity that you have extended to me, and I look forward to us serving and working collectively together to lift up all the issues that are before us and to work to deliver on results that benefit our district as we work to benefit those issues throughout the city. I am so grateful for my amazing campaign team, a phenomenal team led by many dynamic women, including my daughter, Jasmine, my sisters, Sarah, Tassian, Danielle, Tracy, Tamika, Haley, Consola, Angelina, my awesome campaign coordinator, Miss Cheryl, just a pillar in our community, Ali Marie, and some amazing, remarkable men, Brandon, Tom Clifford of Clifford Moss Consulting, Aaron, and that incredible team. I've had amazing volunteers, family, friends, faith, labor, environmental, business leaders, Democratic Party organizations, my Shiloh Church family, my Ayers Covenant Church family, my Withrow Tigers, my SCPA alum, my Swords of Delta Sigma Theta, my Hampton University alum, my PG&E colleagues, my BWAPA and Emerge sisters, my Women's Count and Shirley's List Network. You all have been amazing. Numerous community leaders and neighbors endorsed and lifted up our campaign, and I am honored to be here. I thank my mentor, Senator Nancy Skinner, for the opportunity that she gave me to work alongside her and to help lift up the equitable outcomes that we continue to advance in Oakland and throughout East Oakland. We did it. You invested your time, your talent, your treasure in me, and we won this race together, and it's going to require us to do so much more together. We came through one of the most challenging years of our lives, a year of great and unprecedented trauma and unimaginable loss. And we are truly blessed to come together today, alive in a new year of hope, a year of promise, of purpose, of opportunities to pursue with an unshakable, tenacious determination and fierce resilience and fight of faith to not give up. We will not give up. We will stand strong and united in our collective power as we welcome the new leaders, as we work to lift up our city and the great people that we have an opportunity to serve, seeking strategies, partnering with our community, our city, our regional, our national leaders for solutions and outcomes as we work to regain our footing and run with great wisdom and sound judgment, ensuring that we've got equitable investment, advancing opportunity for all of us to thrive with economic recovery and lasting change from one generation to the next, especially in East Oakland, the district that I am honored to serve. I grew up in a family that faced many of the issues that we are impacted by today in our district. I will continue to fight for families who have endured, like mine, the deep trauma of losing loved ones, to gun violence, overcoming housing instability, food insecurity, unemployment, domestic abuse, relying on deeply affordable housing and good family sustaining jobs, mental health care. The list goes on. I will champion those issues for those of us who have seen the greatest disparities, particularly in our Black and our Latinx community, and single mothers like me, helping to ensure we thrive and come through those hardships together. I never imagined in my youth, watching my great-grandmother and my father serve, that I would be standing in this moment and sitting in the office that I came into many years of my life, watching my father serve diligently. I honor my father. Dad, I see you behind me. You stood with me. You stood behind me, and I've watched you go ahead of me. You served and led District 7 well as a champion for decades. I am honored that the voters have given us this historic moment of coming in and coming behind you to lift up a great legacy, one of equitable outcomes, investment, and opportunities that will help to truly lead our district forward in a greater measure, in the measure that we know that we have been demanding, outcomes and opportunities and equity for all of us. So thank you so much. I look forward to serving with my colleagues, an amazing group of leaders, and I congratulate you, Councilmember Carroll Fife. This is a season of women rising and Black women rising, and I'm honored that we are rising together with our other colleagues who are reelected. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you all out. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I pray that we have a blessed and amazing year.
Thank you so much for those comments, Councilmember Reid, and again, congratulations. Next up, we welcome re-elected council member and council president, Rebecca Kaplan.
Good morning. Good morning to you all. Thank you so very much. It is such an honor to be being sworn in today together with this incredible group of colleagues. And so I am grateful not only for my reelection, and thank you to the voters of Oakland, but for this incredible group of people that I'm honored to serve together with. And I know that working together, we can be effective in making sure that the people of Oakland have their core needs met and that we uplift a future of more justice and more peace. So it is a great honor to have this opportunity together with all of you. I also want to thank the voters for a couple other things that happened this November. The voters overwhelmingly approved Measure S1, for the independence of the police commission and making sure the commission would have the independent staff it needs to do its work. And the voters also overwhelmingly approved Measure QQ for youth voting to allow young people aged 16 and 17 to be able to vote in local school board elections, thus strengthening our democracy. I also want to acknowledge that we have vital and important work to do, both to fight for implementation of things that the council has already passed, like the public lands policy, like the additional illegal dumping crews that we funded, like the crackdown on gun violence and making sure we're tracing and shutting down the dealers who are selling death into our community with illegal gun dealing, to also making sure that we're taking the next steps around housing for the homeless, including expanding our use of allowing people to put accessory dwelling units in their backyards, making sure we're doing quick build of affordable housing and streamlining the approval process so we can add more housing more readily and not let our own processes undermine that step that is so needed. We also have voted to approve launching civilian mental health workers so that we can have people who are trained in mental health respond to those calls and take that obligation off of police who then can focus on other things like fighting guns and fighting violence. We know that so many of our small businesses have been struggling, and I really want to encourage everyone also to continue to stay safe and wear masks and practice distancing. This pandemic is not over, and we need to continue to take more actions to support our community, both in terms of health and in terms of the economic impacts, in terms of job loss and the impacts of our businesses. We recently also heard the disparity study report at a council meeting and know we have to rededicate ourselves further to fighting those disparities, that African-American owned businesses have been disproportionately left out of these contracts and disproportionately suffered from the pandemic, and that too requires a response. Our city has also suffered disproportionately from air pollution and the cancer and asthma and other illnesses that causes, while for years having no representation and no voice in air quality decision-making. We have an opportunity ahead of us to fight for things like cleaning up trucks and industrial pollution that is disproportionately harming our community. We also need to make sure we are retaining and supporting fire safety as we remember last year's devastating fire season. And though it is raining today, we need to be prepared for the season ahead and take that seriously. We are taught that we must pursue justice and pursue peace. Those are not things that will happen by themselves. They take active engagement because the forces of injustice and violence will run rampant unless we actively work together. And so may we be more united in making sure that those efforts happen. The leaders of Oakland who are being sworn in today and the people who do the work every day in our community deserve our support and our thanks, both in our hearts and in our actions. And let us make sure that we do that in the time ahead. We are the descendants of those who survived. We are the descendants of those who survived the Middle Passage and the Trail of Tears and the train to Auschwitz and so many other horrific things. We need to, in this moment, be all the more dedicated to our work together, to our work to uplift those who have been most left behind, and to building a future both of more justice and of more peace. I am incredibly honored to have the opportunity to be sworn in again as your council member at large representing the entire city of Oakland. And it is an honor to serve you and to serve alongside my amazing colleagues. Congratulations to you all and thank you. Good morning.
Thank you so much, Council President Kaplan. And again, congratulations on your reelection. Next, we will move on to the Oakland Board of Education. At this time, I'd like to welcome Oakland Board of Education Director Benjamin Sam Davis, Director VanCedric Williams, Director Mike Hutchinson, and Director Clifford Thomas. At this time, I'm going to ask that you turn your cameras on and all other panelists to turn, turn their cameras off. And I will administer your oath by saying I. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of California, and the Charter of the City of Oakland, and will truly, to the best of your ability, perform the duties of School Board Director, District 1?
Do.
School Board Director, District 3?
I swear.
School Board Director, District 5?
I do.
And School Board Director, District 7?
I do.
Thank you so much and congratulations. We will move on to your 5-minute comments. I ask that if you are not giving comments to turn your camera off. There is a clock in the corner of the slide. And we will start with Sam Davis. And you can begin whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Mayor Schaaf, members of the City Council, my fellow school board directors, Superintendent Johnson Trammell, members of the city and school district staff, and members of the public. I am very grateful to be at this moment of transition to taking office. You know, on the campaign, it's all about talking about the issues, and I've always been more of a doer than a talker. Yet the more that we look at the issues that confront Oakland Unified and our city, the more we see how deeply rooted they are in decades of oppression and how hard it will be to undo the effects of so many years of structural racism. So it's important to start from the very beginning by acknowledging that we are on land that belonged to the Ohlone people for thousands of years before it was taken from them, and then in turn was taken from Mexico by the United States. When I was growing up, I didn't learn anything about the Native people whose land I was living on. So I am so grateful to the teachers who have taught my son about the Ohlone, to efforts across the East Bay to lift up that history in educational projects, and to community leaders in the present day Native community who are talking about our responsibility to the surviving Ohlone people. Nationally, this is a key moment in history for the movement for racial justice. Last year, we saw mass marches across the country calling for police accountability, a strengthening of the Black Lives Matter movement, and strong pushback against the resurgent white nationalism that reaches even into the White House. Here in Oakland, it's notable that among those being newly sworn in today, I'm the only white man alongside 5 African-American men and women. And in this moment, when our city confronts racial disparities in every dimension, whether it's the pandemic, gentrification, homelessness, environmental justice, so many other issues, I hope I can live up to the challenge to be a true ally in the fight for justice. As a white man taking on this work, I hope I can convince others in my community that we can well afford to give up some of our privilege, to listen more and speak less, and to venture into some difficult conversations or uncomfortable spaces in the interest of righting some wrongs and making reparations for injustice. In the long run, the new relationships we form and the new understandings we reach may make those uncomfortable moments very worthwhile. I've been talking to lots of people since the election, and it's clear that I'm only going to be successful if I can stay in touch with families, teachers, and school site staff across not just District 1, but all of Oakland, making sure to consult a diverse group of people, getting their advice and thoughts as I make decisions, and staying in communication with the community as a whole by holding regular public forums on the big issues confronting our school district. What we see in Oakland is that so many people are very proud of their own school, but feel frustrated with the district as a whole. So we need to work together more across schools to develop common understandings of the issues. So folks are not digging in on one side or another of a problem, but instead are acknowledging the complexity of the dilemmas we face and taking them on together. We need to have more successful moments when we take pride, not just in our individual schools, but in the district as a whole. For example, this past year, OUSD distributed food to thousands of families and technology to thousands of students to enable distance learning. We need to honestly acknowledge when we have fallen short as a district, and we also need to celebrate our victories when we do succeed, as we have, for example, with Measure N, which created career pathway programs at high schools all across Oakland and raised the graduation rate across the city. Most of all, we need to do a better job of involving the community in our decisions, making sure we as a district provide full and transparent information about our plans and finances so that we regain the public's trust. In my experience, most people in the community deeply love and appreciate our schools and are so grateful to all those who work very hard to make them as good as they can be. Specifically, I so appreciate that the voters approved Measure Y by an overwhelming margin in this election, and I take very seriously the trust they have placed in us to spend that funding well and responsibly to repair and upgrade our schools. So before I close, I just want to express my tremendous gratitude to all those who supported me to get here in the one-of-a-kind pandemic year election campaign. I especially want to thank my wife, Yael, and my son, Raphael, for their patience and steadfast support through the roller coaster of ups and downs, and Yael's families who are so generous. I also want to especially thank my goddaughter, Melissa Medina, who graduated last year from OUSD and worked so hard supporting my campaign, as well as all the other volunteers and donors who number in the hundreds, so I can't name you all, but I am very grateful. Your support energized me and kept me going when this seemed like an impossible mountain to climb. And finally, a big thank you to all the teachers and education workers in Oakland Unified. I am so grateful for your support this year and for all you have done to transform our education system into pandemic mode with unbelievable speed and flexibility. With your help, I'm looking forward to working with my colleagues and with the superintendent and her staff to build a more anti-racist and equitable school district, one that has enough resources for restorative justice and none for policing, and towards the moment this year when we can safely reopen our schools and bring our students back into classrooms where I know we all urgently want them to be once again, as soon as it can be done in a way that is safe and healthy. Thank you, and wishing us all a new year with a drastic decrease in the virus and a tremendous increase in peace and justice. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Davis, and again, congratulations. Next up, we have District 3 Director VanCedric Williams. And you can begin whenever you're ready, Mr. Williams.
Oh, thank you very much. Ms. Reid, thank you. Good morning, colleagues. I want to thank you all, especially for giving homage to my ancestors, my mother, Cecily, my partner, my family, friends, my union family, and the students, the City of Oakland, and the community of District 3. I thank you. All of you believed that we could do it, and we did. A special thanks to Superintendent Tony Thurman, Assembly Member Rob Bonta, Carroll Fife, District 3 City Council Carroll Fife, at large Rebecca Kaplan, President Keith Brown for taking a chance on me. Thank you. Shirley Chisholm stated, "You don't make progress by standing on the sidelines, whimpering and complaining. You make progress by implementing ideas." I ran because I wanted to make a change and see ideas turn into action. That is our job. That is our mission. And as a 20-year educator, I have dedicated my life to teaching students in the most underserved communities, and I haven't met a child who cannot learn. As an education activist, I will continuously and tirelessly advocate for the most marginalized students. I believe if you lift up those students, our students, then all students will benefit. Let's not forget about our classified employees. They are the backbone of every school. Thank you, paraeducators, for doing the job you do. We must increase funding for public schools, invest in training and retain teachers, modernize our curriculum to prepare our students for the 21st century economy, and actively be anti-racist. We are in unprecedented times, and the work ahead of us will be daunting. But this is our time for us to step up together and to lead all the students in OUSD. We cannot allow fear, uncertainty, and doubt to drive us not to lead at this moment. We can and we must set the example that others can follow, and we do that knowing that the promise that everyone deserves dignity, respect, humanity, regardless of your race, creed, class, or gender. Lastly, I want to end where I began, paying my respects to my ancestors, both our indigenous and African forebears. We commit to the continued struggle for liberation and reparations, for it is through this and through freedom and justice that we will truly give honor. To all of you who have supported me, thank you again. Much love. I cannot wait to be in service to you. Let's do this. Blessings.
Thank you so much, Director Williams. And again, congratulations. Next up is Director Hutchinson. You can begin whenever you're ready.
Thank you. And thank you everyone who's watching today. Today's a really proud day for me and a proud day for my family. In 2011-2012 school year, the school board decided to close the two schools that I had worked at for 10 years. And when that happened, I made a promise that by any means necessary, I was going to work to end school closures and change the course that OUSD was headed down. And I'm really proud today to say that we've achieved that with this election. But I didn't get here by myself. And there's a whole long list of people that I really need to thank and pay tribute to. First and foremost is my family. I want to shout out my great-great-great-grandfather, Jim Hutchinson, who was the first Hutchinson. He was born enslaved. His father was also his master. And through his life, he escaped, fought in the Civil War, freed his family, and acquired land for the Hutchinsons. And again, he adopted the name Hutchinson. And it is on his shoulders that I stand. And more than that, I get everything from my mom. And for those of you who know my mom, know what I speak of. But my mom was an active teacher in Oakland for 40 years. Before that, my mom was active in the movement. My mom did stuff like marching Selma to Montgomery too. She taught both me and my brother that to whom much is given, much is expected. And my dedication to the community and my service of youth all comes from my mother and what she taught me. And hopefully today I made her proud also. But there's a long list of people even beyond that. As we started to really fight against what we saw happening in OUSD, my first partner in crime, the co-founder of Open, Joel Velasquez, was there with me from the start. He led a 17-day sit-in and occupation at Lakeview Elementary that really set us on this course. I was fortunate to meet G2 Brown out of Chicago and become a founding member of the Journey for Justice National Alliance. And without that national support, we also wouldn't be here. And I really want to shout out John A. Latner, who was part of our Journey for Justice family in Newark, New Jersey, who tragically died a few months ago. He would really want to be here to see this today, and it's in his memory that I'm stepping into this office. But there's been a lot of us here fighting in Oakland. You know, besides Noel, I really want to shout out Mona Trevino and Megan Bumpus, who have really been by my side over the last 4 years. I want to shout out Jim Mordecai and Coach Ben Tapscott, who sat with me at countless school board meetings as we really tried to push for a new direction going forward. And I really want to thank all the people, the hundreds of people who contributed to my campaign, who volunteered for my campaign, all of the endorsements that we got from OEA and SEIU 1021, Central Labor Council, DSA, Tony Thurman, Sheila Jordan. I'm really honored to say that the list is too long to even mention all those names now. But we did it. We reclaimed control of our school board for really the first time since the state takeover in 2003. But now the work really begins. I was elected on a platform to end school closures and end the financial mismanagement of OUSD, to create a new community engagement process that includes the community as partners and decision makers, and to begin the business of building sustainable community schools in every neighborhood in Oakland so we can guarantee that every neighborhood has a quality public school. And now that work starts. And so I'm counting on everyone to help us in this work going forward. This was just the start. But as we are dealing with this international pandemic and our schools being shut down for the last 9 months, we are in a state of emergency, and it's going to require all hands on deck. And hopefully with this new school board coming in and a new vision, we can collectively work to really begin to build the kind of school district that we want and we deserve in our city. I am a proud graduate of Oakland Public Schools. I got a world-class education in Oakland, and I will work tirelessly to make sure that that education will once again be available to all students all across Oakland. So again, today's an exciting day for me. It's an exciting day for my family, and hopefully it is an exciting day for education in Oakland, because now we will go about the business of rebuilding a world-class public education system that serves every neighborhood and begin the work of eliminating these problems of lack of equity and lack of access that have plagued so many of our neighborhoods. So again, I'm really proud to be here. It is exciting, and I will be counting on everyone, just like I counted on you to help get me elected. Now I'm going to be counting on you even more as we try to build the kind of school district that we all want and deserve. Thank you for all the help and support, and I look forward to seeing you all soon in person.
Thank you so much, Director Hutchinson, and again, congratulations. Next up, we have Director Thompson. Director Thompson,
yes.
You can begin.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank all of my supporters who helped me get to this point. I realize that without you, I would not be standing at this time. For that, I want to express my deepest thank you. And this was not an easy task, but your words of confidence, your words of support, and your well wishes helped to propel me to this position. Further, it would be remiss of me not to mention the one in whom I have superlative confidence. Yes, my faith and spiritual identity helped to sustain me throughout this campaign. Therefore, preeminence to God. I'm grateful to assume the office of OUSD board member representing District 7 and all of Oakland. I will work as hard as I can to do what is right for families, students, and teachers. I long for the day when there is a restored confidence in our educational enterprise and decision-making. Yes, I will work hard to regain that trust for our entire community. Along with the many concerns that I will address, my priorities will certainly be these. Number one, COVID-19 and returning to school. Currently, I teach 5th grade. I'm a site rep for King Elementary and a member of UTR who looks out for all of my colleagues. I am acutely aware of the necessity to be current with all of the structures that must be in place before returning to school. And I relish the fact that there will be current conversations with all concerned bodies, including OEA. Number two, fiscal responsibility. It's not only good decision-making, it is a state mandate that we always maintain a reserve. Also, we want to guarantee that solvency is a standard that will guide all decision-making and accounting procedures. Number three, neighborhood schools and equity. Research has proven that there are many benefits to establishing neighborhood schools. Making sure that all schools are high quality, providing an exemplary education for all students in the Oakland Unified School District. And with that said, I was raised with strong values, deep community commitment, and fervent drive to never give up. All three came into play when I realized I had to raise a Black son as a single dad. Three came into play. That was no small feat. But because of the way I was raised and how I presently live my life, I can report that my son, even though he's not here today, but he is watching, went to school in Oakland and graduated from Skyline High School. I remember when we said OPS instead of OUSD. I'm dating myself somewhat there. I remember when 1025 2nd Avenue was the esteemed focal point that provided our educational direction. I remember when we had in excess of 50,000 students. I remember when we had mentors for teachers. I remember if you wanted to pursue administration, we had a local program called the Management Opportunity Program, and it was fondly called the MOP program, in which one could participate to learn the intricacies of being an effective administrator. I remember when our school district was the envy of many. We can reclaim our position, and I will do all I can to make that a reality. Again, thank you very much for your support and your belief in me. Rest assured, you will not be disappointed. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for those passionate comments, Director Thompson. And again, I'd like to congratulate all the re-elected council members, newly elected council members, and newly elected school board directors. At this time, our ceremonial program is concluded, and we will commence into the special meeting of the Oakland City Council. So at this time, I turn this program over to Council President Kaplan.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are about to officially call to order the City Council meeting. What you've been watching so far has been the inauguration ceremony for our elected and re-elected officials, both the council, the school board, and the city attorney. So I want to say congratulations to all of you. It's been a pleasure also to hear from all of you about your intentions and goals and visions for the year ahead, and I look forward to working with all of you. And so with that, we are now going to transition into what is more formally a meeting of the Oakland City Council, after which there will then also be a meeting of the school board. But now we're going to the City Council part. And so thank you for joining us. I will allow the clerk to call the roll, and then I'll have some more announcements about how we proceed.
Thank you so much, President Kaplan. And again, welcome to the special meeting of the Oakland City Council. And we will begin with a roll call. Councilmember Boss. Here. Councilmember Fife. Here. Councilmember Gallo.
Here.
Councilmember Kalb.
Here.
Councilmember Reid.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Here.
Councilmember Tao. Present. And President Kaplan, who will be chairing this meeting.
Here. Thank you so very much, everyone. It is an honor to get to preside at this moment for this day, and thank you all also for giving me the honor of being your presiding officer for this term, which is about to conclude as we head into our new term. For those members of the public who wish to speak, we're going to be calling on public speakers in just a moment, so there will be a public speaking opportunity before the actions that we will be taking. The actions that we will be taking today will start with the election of the president and the vice mayor. Then there is the transition of the presiding officer, followed by the, as you'll see if you look at your program, the designation of the president pro tem of the city council, followed by the council president's appointment to council committees. But before we do any of that formal business, we do take public comment. And also I want to remind everybody that hate speech is not allowed here. But also thank you all so much for joining us for this important day in this moment. In this leadership transition, and I'm so pleased to get to serve with all of you, to my colleagues here. We also will be doing some adjournments in memory before we adjourn the meeting of lives that have been lost and people who have passed on. And then also as we are getting everybody set as panelists, if I could ask the clerk, it appears that Councilmember Treva Reid's video is turned off. I'm not sure if that is on your end, but she seems to be not able to activate that. So let's see if we can get that fixed. And it looks like that
Thank you.
better now. So thank you all. And also, I really want to appreciate everybody's patience, and let's all be kind to each other as we navigate this Zoom environment. It's more new for some than others, and also appreciation to our clerk and the whole team who have been doing the work to set us up in this unusual experience, and making sure that everything is functioning in a very hard situation. So thank you all so much. You are much appreciated for that. And so just before we go on, I did want to give the opportunity for some people who wanted to share in memory adjournments. I do think after a year of over 300,000 deaths from COVID, that I do want us in our in memory adjournments to include everyone who has died from this pandemic in those that we honor, and let us rededicate ourselves to the work to help protect the health of our community and make sure not only that it's not worsened, but that it's strengthened, including that everyone needs access to vital health care and protections in these environments. And so to share other in memory adjournments, I'm gonna start with congratulations and welcome our newly sworn in council member for District 7, Treva Reid. You should be able to unmute yourself at this time and be able to share your in memory adjournment request.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you for this time that you've given me. There has certainly been great loss, and there are many names to speak, but I will speak those who have recently passed, as I've honored those who have gone before us earlier and throughout this year at a separate time. But over the last few weeks, there has been tremendous loss of loved ones in my life. We've lost 6 loved ones over the past 3 weeks, and I just want to call them by name. My grandmother, Sue Dowdy, Reverend DeQuincy Hens, a good friend and faith leader nationally with local ties to our community. My cousin, Deborah Pryor Gill, our beloved member of Shiloh Church, Sherwin Dunaway, my mom's best friend, Miss Gilda Bailey, and a community champion, a beloved brother. I hope not to get too emotional here. Tom Garino, my PG&E colleague, incredible mentor, wise counsel.
I think there is one.
I know that there will be a lot of great things that are shared about him. But Tom passed on the 30th suddenly with complications related to COVID-19, and the weight of his presence, the strength of his support, the magnitude of his giving of himself to our community, to our city leaders, to organizations, was a standard that has been unmatched in truly walking out the love life spirit of this city. And so I just want to close in honor of my dear colleague and good friend, along with our family and loved ones that I've mentioned. So thank you for this opportunity.
Pro Jobs, as you know, and they also
thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. And I certainly join you in that memorial. So thank you for that. Next up, I have Councilmember Sheng Tao. Good afternoon, Councilmember Tao. You have the floor.
Good afternoon, everybody. Congratulations to all the new council members and all the returning council members. I also want to join with Councilmember Reid in regards to the memorial of Tom Greeno. Tom Greeno was a really good friend of mine, a really good mentor, and just gonna miss him. So I'm just gonna leave it at that because I'm gonna become a mess. So yes, I want to just add my name to that as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next up, I have Councilmember Noel Gaiu. Mr. Gaiu, congratulations, welcome, and you have the floor.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your year of service, serving as a president. You did an outstanding job, and I just want to commend you. But I would also like to recognize the 100+ lives that were lost in the city of Oakland due to gun violence. And certainly these were some of my neighbors, some of the people down the street. And I think that Oakland needs to do better to protect our families that are currently in the city of Oakland, trying to follow the rules. But I do want to acknowledge many of the young people that have lost their lives in this past year in the city of Oakland. And hopefully we can work together to make sure that that activity ends and stops, and because we cannot allow that to continue as we have years ago when I was growing up in East Oakland and became a norm. But I do want to recognize those families. I have a long list of names, but I want to recognize all the lives that we have lost. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And I'd be honored to continue to work with you to put a stop to the gun violence. Thank you for your dedication. Next in the queue, I have President Pro Tem Dan Kalb. Congratulations to you, and it's a pleasure to get to serve with you further, and you have the floor.
Likewise, Madam President, I just want to add my heartfelt condolences as well on the passing of Tom Greeno. He was such a teddy bear of a guy. I mean, he's such a warm, friendly, I can't say it. It would take too long to say all the wonderful things we could say about him. So I just am so shocked and saddened by his passing that we all learned about a few days ago. And so I just want to add my condolences to his family and close friends. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Next up in the queue, we have Councilmember Lauren Taylor. Mr. Taylor, pleasure to see you. Happy New Year, and you have the floor. Okay.
Absolutely, and congratulations to all of my colleagues, those returning and those new. I look forward to working with you to solve the challenges you guys identified in your addresses. I would love to join with Tom Greeno, with the recognition of Tom Greeno and his life and his legacy as well. He was a very special person, and I am appreciative for having had the opportunity to partner with him on a few initiatives and just be blessed by his energy. I also wanted to lift up the name of Yuridel Logan Patterson. This is the wife of Bill Patterson, who many of us know has been a longtime servant to our community, now serving on the East Bay Mud Board of Directors. And so I wanted to lift up her passing, because she has been in her own right a leader in our community and really dedicated service through her own life as well as her family. So wanted to add her to the list as well. And then, of course, right there along Councilmember Gallo, relative to lifting up the names of those who we've lost over the past year due to gun violence, and reaffirming and recommitting towards really addressing that as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Much appreciation to all of you. And so now we have shared our memory adjournments, which we will do at the end of the council meeting. So this now is the time in the council meeting when we take public comment on agenda items. Any members of the public who wish to give comment can indicate at this time by clicking raise hand in Zoom or *9 if you are on a phone. And it will be 2 minutes per speaker. So if you wish to give public comment on this agenda, please indicate that now with either clicking raise hand or *9 on your phone. And we will be starting the speaking momentarily. And Madam Clerk, the cutoff time to sign up to speak will be 2 minutes from when we start the speaking. So again, now is your time to indicate. This is for members of the public if you wish to speak and give comment. And thank you all for being here with us for this day. And with that, I will now turn it to the clerk to call our public speakers. And thank you all for joining us.
Thank you. We currently show 13 speakers with their hands raised in the attendees queue, starting with the phone number ending 0501. I apologize. We are actually going to begin with our Vice Mayor, Council Vice Mayor Reid and Councilmember Haney. Outgoing Councilmember, Vice Mayor Reid and Haney. Councilmember Reid, if you would like to go ahead and unmute yourself, you're a panelist, you can unmute on your end and we will start your time when you begin. Outgoing Councilmember Vice Mayor Reid, would you like to take your opportunity to share your outgoing remarks?
Yes, he is in the attendee queue. I have given him permission to unmute. It may be that he's having trouble with his audio, so why don't we go to the next person? But Mr. Reid, if you're hearing this, you can text us and we'll make sure we go directly to him once he has his audio connected.
So the next.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I see him coming on. Mr. Outgoing Vice Mayor Reid, do you hear us?
Yes, Madam President. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Welcome, sir. You have the floor now.
Thank you, Madam President and members of the council. I had not anticipating on speaking as a part of this event, but I just want to say how much I have truly enjoyed working with each and every one of you and those that I've served with in the past. I want to just express my personal thanks to city staff, a group of incredible people that love this city and put their heart and soul into making Oakland what it is today and what it will be in the future. I want to give a shout out to the residents of District 7 for electing me to 6 terms. How much I love and how much I appreciate their confidence that they have put in me. And I want to thank those who have served on my staff over those 24 years. But most important, I want to give a special shout out to the former mayor of this great city, L.U. Harris, and also the Councilmember Alita Cannon, who I was a staff member for, while also being a staff member to L.U. Harris. Because without them, I would not have had the opportunity to serve in the capacity that I did. And I just want to say how proud I am that my daughter Treva is going to be serving in my old seat. And I think all of you will get a sense of how intelligent she is, the heart that she has, her love that she has for the city, and the difference that she will make. It is my hope, this is my hope, that one day my daughter will get elected as mayor of this great city. But that's going to be her choosing. But she is prepared to do the work as a council member, representing the residents of District 7, but ultimately representing this entire city. So Treva, I am extremely proud of you. Congratulations, Dan, on being re-elected council member. Madam President, congratulations on your re-election. Councilmember Fife, congratulations on your election as the council member for District 3. And Barbara Parker, who I've known God for a long, long time. Congratulations on being re-elected as our city attorney. And to all the school board members, congratulations. Your job is going to be just as hard as those who are serving on the city council. And so I wish you well, and know that I'm not going anywhere, and that I will be here to share some of the institutional memory that 35 years of working for the city, 24 years as an elected official, that I have stored up in this big head of mine. So I love each and every one of you. And so I wish you all well in guiding the city and guiding the school board. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, outgoing Vice Mayor Reid, for those comments. Our next speaker will be Councilmember Haney, who we will allow her to have 2 minutes to give comment. Councilmember Haney, if you hear us, we have unmuted you. You could go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. To Mayor Shaft and each of you who have assembled here. I'm sorry, I've got an echo. Are you all hearing the echo? Hello?
We can hear you. Welcome. Good afternoon. Okay. You're good.
Okay, I was going to say the sound is a little strange. So, thank you, Council President Kaplan, to my colleagues, and to my council member and successor, Carroll Fife. I am inspired and heartened by all that we've heard and that you all have shared today, including the newly sworn in leaders for our school board. My first memorable day coming into the council chamber physically was in the summer of 2012 when I arrived for my first debate. I was still in a daze, having come back flown from my mother's transition earlier that morning. But I remember coming into that space feeling the awesome charge of what it means to lead, what it means to serve, and that mantle of legacy that each of you have spoken of so dearly today. I remember a young staffer, Casey Farmer, who I did not even recognize by face, introducing herself to me that day. And her dedication to me really remarks of the kind of grace and grit and community that has come together. I want to tell you all that I believe in you as you all are moving forward. And I want to thank my staff over the years, Bridget Cook, Casey Farmer, Zach Wald, Alessia, Erica, Tamara, and Sean, as well as the city staff for digging in. Like the vice mayor, we will be here to continue to support and to serve in our community. And we are praying for your success. For the voters and donors that supported me, it is our time now to support the body that is assuming leadership, because only by coming together will we be able to confront the deep systemic changes and challenges that our community faces. It has been a deep honor to serve the community I call the heart and soul of the town. And I want to thank everyone for their confidence in me and the confidence that we have in this next elected body to continue to do the love life work of making our city whole. I have so enjoyed working with you all, and I so appreciate the opportunity to serve, and know that I'm here to be supportive in any way that I can. Congratulations, and thank you, each of you, for stepping up in this time. God bless.
Thank you. And continuing with the rest of the speakers, Mr. Hazard is up next. Following Mr. Hazard, we have Greg Mcconnell, then Alyssa Victory, Following Alyssa, Ms. Olabala, then Kim Shree. Mr. Hazard, you can unmute and begin your comments, and we'll start your time.
Happy New Year. Before you start my time, Madam City Clerk, why aren't we speaking after they elect the new members as the committee chairs and the vice mayor? And why are you doing this now? We don't get a chance to speak to the new membership? That's ridiculous. Okay, but having said that, you can start my time now. Tragedy, transformation, transparency, trust. The tragedy that we've experienced in 2020. The transformation we could see going forward with reimagining what's happening. The transparency where you, council members, need to listen more and speak less. And Gaiu, stop saying it's not what you say, it's what you do. Because every time you say that, you vote differently. And Nikki Bass, what you did with the Kaiser Center is unconscionable. That was a bad land deal, Gaiu. And that's what I'm saying about using the word saying and doing are two different things. You voted for that raw deal. And now move forward and giving Markeisha what she's entitled to, that retroactive pay. Put her, I got a scheduled agenda item for closed session, and you deal with the equity pay of 2016 and then Lily Ledbetter. Stop placating the public. Stop using these nice words about trust. We can't trust you because you say one thing, listen more, speak less, and act accordingly.
Thank you, Mr. Hazard, for your comments. Greg Mcconnell is up next. Please unmute and begin your comments. We'll start your time.
Happy New Year. This is Greg McConnell. I want to say, first of all, congratulations to everyone who won. And also, I want to say congratulations to all those who you ran against and defeated. Some very, very good people, but they had the courage and dignity to step up. I look forward to working with Councilmember Fife and Councilmember Treva Reid and continuing relationships I've had with Councilmember Kalb and Councilmember Gaiu. A little sad today. You know, I've been around for 7 decades, and I've had a lot of friends in that time. But I had few people that I call best friends. Tom Guarino was one of those. He and I just ran the streets together. We went to Cabo together. We did politics together. We did all kinds of things together. And, you know, he was just a great guy, a man who treated everybody, whether you were captains or kings of industry or the guy on the street, the same. Everybody had dignity. I love the guy. I love his family, and I really miss him. So thank you very much, all of you, for agreeing to close in his honor. I also want to thank Councilmember Larry Reid and Councilmember Haney for their years of dedication and service. Didn't always agree, but we always respected each other. And I hope that that follows soon with the newly elected council members, that will always respect each other, but hopefully they will always agree. In other words, Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McConnell, for your comments. Alyssa Victory is up next. Please unmute and begin your comments. We'll start your time. Alyssa Victory. User by the name of Alyssa Victory. Okay, we will move on to the next speaker and give you another opportunity to come back. Ms. Olabala is up next. You've been unmuted, Ms. Olabala. please unmute on your end and we will start your time when you begin.
Yes, thank you. Well, here's the list of issues I know you're not going to deal with. If you have it in the past, I have no faith that the new people coming in are going to deal with these. You're not going to talk about Janelle Harris and how she was pushed out of the position of being on the police commission. You're not going to talk about Jonathan Van Vliet. You're not going to talk about Maisha Singleton and how the police department covered up for 4 months her murder. You're not going to talk about the NSA with any significance, 18 years, mostly impacting African-American people. You're not going to talk about Oakland Promise and how they owe us $4 million and how you're giving them money with no substantial good reason. You're not going to talk about the police office grievance. You're not going to talk about how you're the #1 gentrified city. You're not going to talk about how being a sanctuary city is impacting African-Americans. You're not going to talk about how you pushed African-Americans out of Lake Merritt. You're not going to talk about 70% of the homeless are African-Americans and nothing is happening except it's increasing. Even though Gaiu says they're coming from out of the city. All of these undocumented people are coming from out of the city, Gaiu. You're not going to talk about the cartel that Gaiu keeps telling us is growing, MS-13. You're not going to talk about how you push Keisha Smith out. You're not going to talk about the racial, gender, and gender disparity study from 2017. People had to push you to bring it forward. You're not going to talk about how construction unions are locking out African-American people. You're not going to talk about Measure AA in the courts and how you need to do something. You're not going to talk about many other things. But listen to me, people, all of you. I will continue to address these issues, and I don't care if you don't talk about it. It's going to be in your face. Black lives do not matter in the city of Oakland, and you know it. So stop acting like you're helping Black people. You're not.
Thank you, Ms. Olabala, for your comments. Alyssa Victory, we're going to give you another opportunity to speak. If you can hear us, please unmute and begin your comments. And
yes,
yes, we can hear you. To go ahead and begin. Thank you.
Okay. I just called in. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Alyssa Victory, former resident of District 7, Oakland. I'm now a resident of District 4. I called to congratulate all of the newly elected council members and school board members and the incumbents that have been reelected. So I concede the rest of my time.
Thank you for your brief comments. The next speaker is Kim Cherie. Following Kim, we have Chaney Turner, then Isaac Coase, then Risa J. Following Risa Bendu Griffin. Kim Cherie, we see you've unmuted. You can go ahead and begin.
Thank you. First of all, Happy New Year, everyone, and please remember to stay safe and distance yourselves appropriately. After watching the swearing-in ceremony, I just wanted to send my congratulations to the re-elected council members, and then also to the newly elected council members, Treva and Carroll. As you can hear from the public comments, as I've listened, you've got quite a load of things already heaped on your plate, plus just a real need for trust to be rebuilt. And as women coming into elected office, but also as Black women coming into elected office, and I'm a formerly elected Black woman, yes, it will be difficult, but know that you have many, many other women supporting you. I am here to support you, but also stay steadfast in your hope and work and diligence and connection to community that got you there and that will see you through. Again, also congratulations to the re-elected members and farewell to Lynette and Larry. You have done good service and we appreciate you for your public service. Thank you, and I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you so much for your comments. Chaney Turner is up next. Chaney, you've been unmuted. Please unmute on your end and we'll start your time.
Hello, everyone. And
Happy New Year, and congratulations to the newly elected school board members and city council members. Congratulations to Carroll. District 7 is very lucky to have you. Also, congratulations to Treva. I just want to say that as a resident of District 7, I hope that we all can, align and work together. Unfortunately, under the outgoing leadership, District 7 was pretty much ignored. Black people, especially Black people in this district, homeless and elderly Black people need attention more now than ever. So I just want to urge to really listen to the people, and our voices who have been most affected under the outgoing leadership, and to the rest of the city council as a whole to do the same thing for this new chapter to really come aligned with the community. It's really important right now. Health, housing have always been important issues, and we have to come to some real sustainable solutions right now for the most harmed people. So I just want to congratulate y'all and also urge everyone to really listen to us, because we've just been going back and forth for years, and there really is no reason for that to continue. So hopefully we can have better relationships and work together to make Oakland better for everyone. Yield my time. Thank you so much for your comments. Isaac Coast-Reid is next. Following Isaac, we have Risa J, then Bindu Griffin, then Cynthia Landry, and the last, Colette Hunter. And T. Coleman was the last user with their hand raised at the call of the queue. Isaac, I see you've unmuted. Please begin and we'll start your time.
Thank you. My name is Isaac Cost-Reid. I'm a proud resident of Oakland here in District 2 on Lake Merritt. I serve the city as a member of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission. My 8-year-old is a 3rd grader in our local OUSD school, although she actually just technically logged off from school here in the same room I'm now in. My wife works down at La Clínica de la Raza in the Fruitvale on the front lines of our community's public health, though right now she's upstairs making calls to inform people that they've tested positive for COVID-19. My mother and my Guatemalan in-laws live with us here on Lake Merritt, growing old in the same house where my father passed away last year. Lake Merritt is also, of course, where my wife and I founded Salsa by the Lake back in 2007. And after 13 years of consistent outdoor dancing, of course, we had to go dormant in 2020. In short, this is our home. We really care so deeply for Oakland, and we are 100% committed to being part of the trust building, the change making, the justice inspiring that pretty much everyone talked about today in their opening remarks. There is so much work to do. So as most of you know, I'm also an advocate who works with civic-minded organizations seeking results that matter for Oakland and our region. And I've built a diverse team of individuals from here and similar communities across the Bay Area. And we're proud to work with some amazing organizations. And I look forward to working with all of you. So Happy New Year, congrats on your election. Thank you for your service, both those departing members who I had the honor of working with for so many years, and welcome to the new members. Best of luck, and indeed, we will be in touch.
Thank you so much for your comments. Risa J is up next. Risa, I've unmuted you. Please go ahead and unmute and begin.
Hi, thank you. Yes, this is Risa Jaffe. I've lived in Oakland about 40 years now. And I want to thank Councilmember Fife for directly calling out neoliberalism and state violence. Oakland is a city that many consider to be liberal, and yet the Oakland equity score of 33 out of 100 shows that doesn't mean a lot. The council is going to have a lot of challenges going forward. I've been to many city council meetings and now on Zoom and listened to lots of comments, and then seen the vote have nothing to do with the comments that have been spoken. And so what that says is that there are people who have access to our city council members who are talking behind the scenes and not in public, whose voices are being heard louder than those showing up. And so I'm going to ask council members who are having those conversations to have a conversation about equity, to help people understand that there's stuff going on in Oakland that they're not paying attention to that needs to take priority. So I hope you all will really make some hard decisions. And remember that there are people whose voices take priority, and there's people who have housing and food and are safe, and they need to understand their perceived needs are maybe not the priority for Oakland right now. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Bindu is next. You've been unmuted. Please go ahead and unmute. Begin.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, all. I hope my Zoom is working great. To the mayor, council president, council members, and elected officials, welcome to all of those that are new. Welcome to those that are returning. I first take my hat off to Councilmember Reid and Councilmember Haney for their dedication to the city of Oakland and to the issues facing the city. We did work hard, Councilmember Haney, to see you reelected. I am sorry to see you go. That being said, I welcome Councilmember Reid, a young lady whom I have watched over the years. We go to church together. I've seen her in other settings, looked at her when no one knew we were looking at her. And so I know she's going to be an asset to the council. And I hope that no one takes upon themselves to rub wrong information and try to smear it on her. She's not that kind of a person. I do say to the council, hopefully this year will be a year of partnership where the community, the council, the businesses will all work together, where we don't get into the what we've already run into, like a department being changed from contracts and compliance to Department of Workforce and Employment Standards. We want a partnership. We don't want an adversarial relationship. We want to be able to talk to you and you talk to us, and together we'll make Oakland the great city that it should be. You will be hearing from us. We look forward to sitting with you all, hopefully not in those little short hour meetings and 20 people. Thank you all for what you do, and thank you for what you're doing in this tough situation.
Thank you. The next speaker is Saletta Hunter. Then the last speaker who had their hand raised at the time is T. Coleman. Saletta, you can go ahead and begin.
Thank you. I want to say congratulations to all of the newly elected officials. You know what Oakland is, and you know what we expect. And we are sorry that the accolades do not last for long, but we welcome you. Those who are returning, thank you. We appreciate your service. I want to encourage, as many people have said before, that interaction. I remember interviewing Councilman Taylor when he ran, and also talking to our mayor. And I remember the divide between city and board, and as far as schools and the city, and how those two don't go together, but I think that they do. As a teacher in East Oakland, I am encouraging our newly elected officials to stop by, to meet our students, to talk to our staff, because we don't just represent our school, Castlemont, we represent our parents who probably voted for you to be in office. And so we would love for you to come by so that our students can see what Oakland looks like from your perspective and get understanding about what's going on in their communities. I hope that you focus on African American student achievement. As a teacher, I see that we have the lowest scores for African American students, and I want to make sure that that is addressed, and I look forward to working with all of you in the years that you have on the board to make Oakland a better place for everyone, but more necessarily our students. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last person who had their hand raised at the call of the queue is a user by the name of T. Coleman. You've been allowed to unmute yourself. Please unmute on your end, and we'll start your time.
Happy New Year's. Can you hear me?
Yes, Happy New Year's. You could begin.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me say I'm Theresa Coleman, and I'm a resident in Acorn. I'm not a native of Oakland. I'm a visitor for the second time around. And I want to congratulate all of you on those who have gone out, those who are coming in, on your public service. I do know the work, and I know it's hard. But as a non-Oaklander and a community activist, I have a problem here in West Oakland. I am of African descent, and I live in Acorn, and there's a really cool group of residents out here who have been trying very hard to get in position to improve the quality of living in their neighborhood in Acorn and the surrounding community. But what we ran up against was a non-responding Oakland. And I don't know any of you, so everybody got 100% right now. But I look forward to, I don't know, we've always seen Oakland as something grand and beautiful. And I'm coming to you from San Francisco. You have a rich history. You know, you did invest in your people. You know, you did invest in your city. And then all of a sudden, Oakland looked like it was a big checkbook. And everybody else was pimping off of Oakland, namely Acorn, which is ran by private organization that is funneling money all over the place, and none is being invested into the community. We have a disposition and demolition contract that was also signed by the City of Oakland, Mayor's Office, Redevelopment, HUD, Bridge, and that project has been abandoned. So I'm asking that at some point when you get situated into your seats, you need to look into this real estate, the abuse, the criminal activities, the lack of, it needs to be tore down, as the contract says. But in my efforts to...
I'm so sorry, Ms. Coleman. Your 2 minutes has expired. Madam Chair, those were the speakers that had their hand raised at the call of the queue, as you stated.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Much appreciated. And to members of the public who were wondering about a speaking opportunity after the business of the meeting is conducted, yes, there will be continuation of open forum after the business items. So we will have that opportunity then for this speaking opportunity for the public to continue. Also, to the speaker who is raising a particular project issue, if you'd like to email my office, that is atlarge@oaklandnet.com, atlarge, ATLARGE @oaklandnet.com. We'd be happy to follow up with you on that. Also, I did want to make sure I get in the panel. We also have with us Jessica Ramos from Oakland Unified School District. I do see your hand up. Jessica, did you wish to speak at this time?
Yes, thank you, President Kaplan, for letting me. Sorry about that. I'm getting sick now. The weather is getting a little, yeah. I just want to congratulate my auntie, Treva, who has been part of our family for now quite some time, couple months, but she has been absolutely amazing. I know that she'll take the leadership and always allows the youth voice to be centered in District 7 and always raises that up. I also want to congratulate district member now, Carroll 5, who also has been very, very with youth voice and being part of that. Also want to congratulate the new elected or the re-elected council members, and hope to see you guys work with youth members and also see you guys be part of youth organizations and hearing the youth voice, who are the future leaders of our generations for Oakland. Thank you all again, and hope to be working with you guys soon.
Thank you so much for that. And it's a pleasure to hear you, and thank you for those comments. And so, Mr. Taylor, did you have something you want to add before we proceed with the business items?
I did, Madam President. I apologize because I forgot a name relative to the in memoriams, and I wanted to, if possible, lift up Sharon Robinson, a City of Oakland employee from the Human Services Department who has served our city faithfully for a number of years, worked on our sugar sweetened beverage board. She passed away on Christmas Eve from, I guess, after a year-long battle with illness. And so wanted to lift her up, her name, her service, her legacy. She was a kind and caring person, dedicated so much to our city. And so didn't want the opportunity to pass by without acknowledging her. Thank you.
Thank you so much for adding that. And I also actually would like to add another name to our in memory adjournments, which is I want us to lift up the memory and support the family of Vivian Lorraine Young, who is the aunt of our Assistant City Administrator, Latanda Simmons. Latanda Simmons, we send you our love, our blessings, our prayers in this time, and we honor the life of Vivian Lorraine Young, who succumbed to COVID after fighting cancer, succumbed to COVID on December 23rd. And so our prayers are with you and your family. And so we will add those names to our in memory adjournments today. And with that, we will now proceed with the business items. And I'm being told that we do have a request for a comment from our outgoing Vice Mayor Larry Reid, just as we conclude our announcements and adjournments. And so our outgoing Councilmember Reid, I believe you are still on the line. And so I believe you wanted to add something at this time. And it's been such a pleasure to serve with you, sir. You are on. Larry Reid.
Thank you, Madam President. I forgot to congratulate my longtime friend, Councilmember Noel Gaiu, for his reelection.
Larry, we're not done. I'll be over to bug you still.
All right. Thank you, sir. And thank you for your incredible work. Okay. And with that, we will return to our agenda. And so we're going to now go to item 2, and I will let the clerk read it in.
At this time, we are going to agenda item 2, which is adopt a resolution electing a council member as president of the city council of the City of Oakland for the term beginning January 4th, 2021 and ending January 2nd, 2023, pursuant to resolution number 88266. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. And I want to say it has been an amazing experience, colleagues, being your council president. I thank you for the trust and faith you put in me. And I want to say that the strategy we embarked upon of making sure every council member was included in leadership, included in having a voice, I think is really important. And it is certainly my hope and intention that that would continue, because I know that Oakland needs all of us in order to make sure we accomplish what is needed for our community. And so with that, it is my honor to move that we would nominate and elect Councilmember Nikki Fortunato-Bass to be our council president for the coming term.
Second.
And there is a second. Thank you so much from Councilmember Tao. Before we call the vote, are there any comments on the motion? Madam Clerk, we may call the roll.
On the motion made by Councilmember Kaplan, seconded by Councilmember Tao to elect Councilmember Bass as council president, Councilmember Bass. Aye. Councilmember Fife.
Aye.
Councilmember Gallo.
Aye.
Councilmember Kalb.
Aye.
Councilmember Reid,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor,
Aye.
Councilmember Tao,
Aye.
and Council President Kaplan.
Aye.
Motion passes with a vote of 8 ayes. Councilmember Bosch, you are now president of the council. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm almost at a loss for words, but I do want to share with you my congratulations as well as my thanks. So colleagues, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your leadership. To those of you who were reelected and elected, I am so humbled to serve as your council president. And Council President Emeritus Kaplan, thank you so much for your leadership over these past 2 years. There's so much at stake for Oakland. We've been talking about that this morning. There's so much at stake. This pandemic has deepened the inequality caused by years of disinvestment in the well-being of everyday Oaklanders. While big corporations and real estate speculators have pocketed most of the wealth we created together, our unsheltered residents, our essential workers, many of our Black and brown neighbors, immigrant and refugee neighbors and small businesses are suffering. And even our hardworking city staff continue to struggle to keep up with both the cost of living and the service needs of our growing population. I am so proud of our work over the last 2 years since I joined this council to bring the needs of the most vulnerable people in our city to the forefront. Together, we passed the strongest COVID eviction moratorium in the state, and that means so much for a city that's 60% renters, many who lost their homes in the foreclosure crisis of 2008. We invested last year in a program that supports tenants to stay in Oakland and purchase their homes with community land trusts. Earlier this year, we extended our long-term investment in young people with the Oakland Fund for Children and Youth. And we will this year continue our work to update our corporate business tax to make it more progressive and equitable, and finally raise new revenue while supporting our small businesses and improving city services needed now more than ever. And finally, we created a task force to reimagine public safety, to focus police resources on violent crime, and to more effectively address mental health, homelessness, traffic issues, and support community solutions to violence and poverty. And as your council president, I will continue to work with you and in deep collaboration with the people of Oakland. First, we're going to ensure a just recovery for Oakland, in which the people who are most vulnerable during the pandemic and recession receive our investment and support. We will stand with Oakland's working people, our city workers, our public school teachers, essential workers, and small businesses. Second, we will advance housing as a human right by preventing displacement of low-income residents and people of color and creating housing for our unsheltered residents. And third, we will have a budget based on our values that invites the largest corporations in Oakland to invest in our city, our services for our residents, and our recovery from this terrible pandemic. We will champion a city budget that delivers the equitable services for each of our neighborhoods, from safe streets and clean parks to support of our small businesses and arts community. We'll ground this work in our values of equity, inclusion, and democracy, and we will work with all branches of our city government as one united, effective government engaging and serving the people of Oakland. Congratulations again to my 3 colleagues who were re-elected, Council Members Kaplan, Kalb, and Gaiu, and to my new colleagues, Council Members Fife and Reid. Oakland voters sent us a clear mandate, a mandate for visionary progressive priorities that support our most vulnerable residents. Colleagues, we live in one of the wealthiest regions in the richest country in the world, and it's long past time for the billionaires and billionaire corporations in our backyard to pay their fair share and invest in our city so that our small businesses, the people of Oakland, can continue to live and work here and also thrive. And it's time for all of us, the council together with the mayor and the city administration, to work towards the progressive priorities that Oaklanders voted for. Housing is a human right, safety focused on prevention and healing, and a progressive corporate tax that will raise critical revenue for the services our residents and small businesses need and deserve. And that's the work that I hope to do together with all of you and the people of Oakland. And I do believe that this election, this day, marks the start of creating a healthier and safer Oakland and a more unified city. I look forward to serving as your council president. Thank you to my Oakland family. Love life.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And so, Madam Clerk, we'll go to item 4, and then after that, we will formally transfer the virtual gavel to our new council president. And then President Boss will then chair the rest of the meeting thereafter. So that's just a heads up on those logistics. And I'll let the clerk call in item 4.
So noted. Skipping ahead to item 4. A resolution electing a council member as mayor of the City Council of the City of Oakland for the term beginning January 4th, 2021 and ending January 3rd, 2022, pursuant to resolution number 88266. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Councilmember Treva Reid, you are in the queue.
Yes, Madam President, I would be delighted to nominate you, Rebecca Kaplan, to serve as vice mayor.
Second.
Thank you so much. It is a great honor. I appreciate it, and I commit to doing so with thoughtfulness and integrity for our community. Thank you so much for that. That was moved by Councilmember Reid, seconded by President Boss. Seeing no one else in the queue, we can call the roll on the election of vice mayor.
On the motion made by Councilmember Reid, seconded by President Boss, electing President Kaplan as vice mayor of the council, Councilmember Boss.
Aye.
Councilmember Fife.
Aye.
Councilmember Gaiu.
Aye.
Councilmember Kalb.
Aye.
Councilmember Reid.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Councilmember Tao.
Aye.
And President Kaplan.
Aye.
Motion passes with a vote of 8 ayes. Congratulations, Vice Mayor Kaplan.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate it greatly. I will not give another speech now, since I did give one previously with the swearing in, but I will just briefly say that I think we have an incredibly important opportunity before us to work together to make sure that we not only pass, but also implement vital actions to protect the health of our community, the safety of our community, justice in our community, and that I will be honored to work with all of you and all of our colleagues. And Madam Mayor, I look forward to working with you as well as we ensure that together we are effective for our community. And thank you all very much for this honor. And with that, I will now stop chairing the meeting. And President Nikki Bass, congratulations. Can call for the next item or whatever else comes next, Madam President.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to serve as your president, and to our esteemed acting city clerk. Could you please call the next item?
Going back to item 3, adopt a resolution confirming a council member as President Pro Tem of the City Council for the City of Oakland beginning January 4th and ending January 2nd, 2023, pursuant to resolution number 88266. Thank you.
Thank you. So pursuant to our charter, as the newly elected council president, I would like to designate as our President Pro Tempore Councilmember Sheng Tao. I have appreciated her leadership and service, including chairing our important rules committee, and hope that she will be willing to serve in the office of President Pro Tempore, and would like to move that motion.
Second.
Are there any comments, colleagues? There being none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
On the motion made by President Boss, seconded by Vice Mayor Kaplan, confirmed by Councilmember Tao as President Pro Tem, Councilmember Fife.
Aye.
Councilmember Gallo.
Aye.
Councilmember Kalb.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Kaplan.
Aye.
Councilmember Reid.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Pro Tem Tao.
Aye.
And President Boss.
Aye.
Motion passes with a vote of 8 ayes. Continuing to the next item, which is item 5. Adopt a resolution pursuant to Council Rules of Procedure, Resolution number 88266, to confirm the City Council President's appointments of the members and chairpersons of the Public Works, Finance and Management, Community and Economic Development, Life Enrichment, Public Safety, Rules and Legislation, City Port Liaison Committee, and Education Partnership Committees of the City Council for the years 2021 through 2023.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and congratulations to the President Pro Tempore, Sheng Tao. I would like to share my screen to share with you my assignments for our committees. And if that is enabled, I will go ahead and do that. Okay, and let me see if I can minimize this box here. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. I will review this and I will thereafter send it to the council members, the clerk, and the administration. So in terms of the appointments to our council committees, I will read them off for the record. For the Finance and Management Committee, the chairperson would be Vice Mayor Kaplan, with members Bass, Reid, and Tao. For Public Works, the chairperson would be Councilmember Gallo, with members Councilmembers Kalb, Taylor, and Tao. And for Community Economic Development, the chairperson would be Council President Kalb, with council members Fife, Gaiu, and Taylor. And then moving on, Life Enrichment would be chairperson Taylor, with members Bass, Fife, and Kaplan. Public Safety would be chairperson Fife, with members Gaiu, Kaplan, and Reid. Rules Committee would be chairperson Tao, with members Bass, Fife, and Kalb. City Port Liaison would be chairperson Kaplan, with members Bass, Fife, and Reid. And then Education Partnership would be chairperson Reid, with members Gaiu, Kalb, and Taylor. So colleagues, those are my assignments. I will just take a moment here to email that to you as well. And I would like to I would like to make a motion to move those assignments and then take any comments or questions.
Second.
Thank you. And it looks like I've got Vice Mayor Kaplan in the queue. Go ahead.
Thank you. Actually, I was just in the queue to second it, and I'll just take the opportunity to say thank you. They appear very thoughtful, and they also continue the new tradition we started 2 years ago of making sure that every council member has an opportunity in their leadership. And I think that's very healthy for us. So I'm happy to support this, and thank you so much.
Thank you. And I did learn from my first 2 years on the council and the last 2 years of committee assignments in terms of sharing the load and making sure that we each have an opportunity for leadership as well as participation in our work. So I do believe these assignments help to do that. So I do not see anyone else in the queue. With the motion by, I believe it was Sheng Tao, I'm sorry, my motion, and the second by Councilmember Tao. Madam Clerk, will you please go ahead and call the roll?
On the motion made by Council President Boss, seconded by Pro Tem Tao, appointing Finance and Management Committee Chairperson Vice Mayor Kaplan with members Boss, Reid, and Tao, Public Works Chair Gaiu, members Kalb, Taylor, and Tao, Community and Economic Development Committee Chairperson Kalb with members Fife, Gaiu, Taylor, Life Enrichment Committee with Chairperson Taylor, members Boss, Fife, and Kaplan, Public Safety Committee with Chairperson Fife with members Gaiu, Kaplan, and Reid, Rules and Legislation Committee with Chairperson Tao with members Boss, Fife, and Kalb, City Port Liaison Committee with Chairperson Kaplan with members Boss, Fife, and Reid, Education Partnership Committee with Chairperson Reid with members Gaiu, Kalb, and Taylor. That is the motion. Councilmember Fife. Councilmember Fife. Councilmember Gaiu.
Aye.
Councilmember Kalb.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Kaplan.
Aye.
Councilmember Reid.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Pro Tem Tao.
Aye.
And President Boss.
Aye.
The motion passes with a vote of 8 ayes. Congratulations on your committee appointments. And I believe that concludes your business. And just through the chair, there was a request by the OUSD School Board if we could take a recess and they can commence their meeting before we go to open forum.
That should be fine. We shall go on recess. And Madam Clerk, do we need a motion and second and roll call for that?
I think so, but I'll defer to the city attorney.
Yes, this is this is City Attorney, Deputy City Attorney Allison Dibley. Yes, motion and a roll call, please.
Thank you. So it is now 1:23 p.m. I will move a motion to take a recess in order to conduct the OUSD Board of Directors meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion by Bass, second by Kalb. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
On the roll call, on the motion to take a recess made by President Bass, second by Councilmember Kalb. Councilmember Fife.
Aye.
Councilmember Kalb.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Kaplan.
Aye.
Councilmember Reid.
Aye.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Gaiu.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Pro Tem Tao.
Aye.
And President Boss.
Aye.
Motion passes with a vote of 8 ayes. It is 1:23 and we will take a recess.
And Madam President and Madam Clerk, could we know if the Rules Committee is scheduled to meet this Thursday or does it start next week?
Yes, it's scheduled for this Thursday.
Thank you.
Mr. Rakestraw, will you let me know when we begin? When we're going to begin?
Yes, before you begin, I just want to publicly thank the Acting City Clerk, Ms. Reid, and her staff for the cooperation and the collaboration between the district and the city in planning inauguration and two organizational meetings. Thank you very much. I now recognize Vice President Gonzalez for the conducting of the annual organizational meeting for the Board of Education.
Thank you, Mr. Rakestraw. Can we begin with an attendance roll call?
The attendance roll call, Student Director Ramos. Student Director Powell.
Here.
Is Director Ramos also here?
He is not.
Okay, thank you. Director Davis.
Here.
Director Ng.
Here.
Director Williams.
Present.
Director Yee.
Here.
Director Hutchinson.
Present.
Director Thompson.
Yes.
And Vice President Gonzalez.
I'm here.
Quorum present.
Thank you, Mr. Rakestraw. I believe we're starting with public comment, and we've allocated 15 minutes. So I don't know if you're running the clock or who's running the clock, but
The city clerk will assist us in time.
okay. So Ms. Reid, can we do 1 minute? Because I have a feeling there's going to be more than, well, we'll see. We'll see how many public comment people there are. So please raise your hand if you would like to make a public comment at this time. Okay, well, maybe we can do 2 minutes, Ms. Reid, because I only see a few hands. Great, let's take our first public speaker, Mr. Rakestraw.
Ms. Reid.
Your first speaker in the queue is a member by the name of Victor Uno. After Victor, we have Barbara Leslie, and following Barbara, we have Cynthia Landry. Victor, you've been unmuted and you can begin your comments whenever you're ready.
Madam Clerk, this is Vice Mayor Kaplan. I believe some of the hands you see had actually intended to be raised for the City Council open forum.
Okay, if you were to speak before the council, that's going to be later in the meeting and you can lower your hand at this time. Can we call the next speaker, Ms. Reid?
The next speaker is Barbara Leslie. Barbara, you've been unmuted. You can unmute yourself and begin whenever you're ready.
Okay, let's keep moving on.
Next speaker is a member with the last 4 digits phone number of 0501, which I believe to be Mr. Hazard. Mr. Hazard, you can unmute yourself and begin when you're ready.
You were correct, Madam City Clerk. I have open forum for City Council. I relinquish my time.
The next speaker is Ms. Asada Olabala. Ms. Olabala, you've been unmuted and you can begin when you're ready.
Yes. I'm going to request that the consent agenda be taken under consideration. The last meeting of the OUSD Board of Education had over 100 items on the agenda for which the council or board members approved all of those items except for a few that they pulled out to have minimal conversation about. Some of these contracts had already been implemented. Some of them were completely over. You even had the use of a building for the election of November the 3rd to be approved by the voters, and that had already happened. Secondly, the request by members of the Oakland Education Association that reflected the need for African American students to be put under the sanctuary reparations consideration. And they identified a number of negatively impacted issues of African American students. It was said that this item has to be done, considered in closed session. That was in October. It has not been brought to closed session to look at what's happening with African American students. The issue of African American students being disproportionately identified as emotionally disturbed by the state You have to do something to deal with that disparity. So I hope that will be taken up soon. The issue of how Proposition 209 failed under Proposition 16. How are you going to address the number of issues around race, particularly African-American children, when you have Proposition 209? And lastly, I heard that the district has dismissed over 80-something African-American male teachers. And that has been an agenda for some time. Stop the disparity of African-Americans in the OUSD.
Thank you, Ms. Olabala, for your comments. The next speaker in the queue is Ishmael Armendez. Sorry if I said that wrong. You've been unmuted and you can begin your comments whenever you're ready.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ishmael Armendez, and I'm the first vice president of OEA. But before I begin with my comments, I just want to say a special shout out to my brother and colleague, VanCedric. It was a real pleasure to work on your campaign to get you elected. I'm really, really excited for you, man, to watch our friendship grow, not just here in Oakland, but across the state with our work in CTA. I really appreciate you. As we move forward into this new year with this new board, on behalf of OEA, we are looking to partner with you to really build a quality school district for our students and for our educators, to retain our Black and brown educators here in the city, because we don't have enough. We have an issue with retaining teachers, and it's something that we really want to tackle this year and start to really build a plan towards. Also, just building a quality education for our students is one of our top priorities. And so we're here with you. We're ready to work with you and to really reinvest in our public school system. So once again, congratulations on the new board. We appreciate you, and we look forward to working and partnering with you.
Thank you for your comments. The next speaker is this member with the name of David. David, you've been unmuted and you begin your comments when you're ready.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, OUSD Board Director, Superintendent Johnson Trammell, and the greater Oakland community. Special welcome to the new incoming school board members. Congratulations on your victory. I'd like to share a couple of pressing priorities with all of you, especially as we head into this new calendar year and the new term. Focusing on academic achievement, especially for special education, English learner, African American and Latino students. These students continue to fall into the lowest academic tiers when compared to their peers across the state. Every board meeting in Oakland should include a robust academic report that includes the latest in assessment data. Be as transparent as you can and don't look away. Improving distance learning. Now, our children are struggling at best under current conditions. I'm working with children that attend a number of OUSD schools. Some schools are doing better than others. A minimal school day and infrequent assignments, unfortunately, are the norm. I ask you to research and possibly partner with groups like the Oakland Reach that are actively engaged in this work and engaging families in the process. We can and must do better. The third is to get serious now about reopening schools when it is safe. Bring families to the table now. The distrust between OEA and OUSD is real. The information vacuum is deepening distrust in the community. Get serious and work together with the community. Work with the experts. Be as transparent as you can. And most importantly, work together as a team and with the superintendent and her staff. Thank you, and I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you for your comments. The next speaker is Rich Harrison. Rich, you've been allowed to speak. Please unmute yourself and begin when you're ready.
Hi, my name is Rich Harrison. I'm the CEO of Lighthouse Community Public Schools, home to 1,500 students and families at charter schools in the Deep East Oakland community at our Lighthouse and Lodestar campuses. I want to welcome and congratulate the new school board members, and I look forward to working with the board to address student achievement, safe school opening, and ensuring that all families have strong choices of schools in their communities. I'd like to ask the new OUSD board members for two things as they begin their leadership. First, take the time to visit charter schools that are home to 16,000 students and families. The politics around charter schools and school choices were elevated during this election, and it's important for board members to put themselves in the shoes of students and families that attend both district and charter schools, and to acknowledge the great work that all schools are doing during the pandemic. Instead of getting sucked into the political binary of district versus charter, I hope that we can shift our conversations to teaching and learning, services for students, literacy, and college access. Second, Lighthouse Community Public Schools had 2 positive charter renewal hearings last fall. At one of our board meetings during our hearings, a current employee of OUSD, one that was publicly acknowledged today in the remarks of one of our elected board members, made a public comment in November at our charter hearing. This person used racist language toward our students, families, and staff. This person, like in our community, Jim Jones, called us un-American and told us to go to hell. This type of racist and targeted language goes against the core values and anti-racist stances that OUSD and charter schools stand for. I urge the new board members to publicly condemn the use of racist, grossly inappropriate language, take action toward the individual, and honor the school choices that our students and families have made, and work to make sure that public hearings for charter schools and their students and families are safe. I also urge you to make sure that your leadership reflects the 16,000 students and families in our charter schools across the city. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. The next speaker is Cynthia Landry. Cynthia, you've been allowed to speak. Please unmute yourself and begin your comments. Cynthia Landry, please unmute yourself and begin your comments. Moving to the next speaker, Jim Mordecai. You've been allowed to speak. Please unmute yourself and begin your comments.
Okay, Jim Mordecai, speaking as individual, I congratulate everybody who was elected and the school board members returning. We have important work to do, and we always have to look at the context. And one of the contexts is the great teacher that I worked with was Del Patterson at Franklin Elementary School. And she was the person who went back and did extra studies with her master's degree at St. Mary's College and became an expert in reading recovery. And right now, there's a strong movement in the community to emphasize efficiency in reading, that every child has gotten in the regular classroom what they need, and when they haven't, what are you going to do? Well, one of the things you can do is look at programs that we've already had that worked, and reading recovery works. I would hope that everybody pays attention to that, and finally, that at the end of the meeting, that you close the meeting in the honor of the great teacher, Del Patterson. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. The next speaker in the queue is Soletta Hunter. Soletta, you've been allowed to speak. Please unmute yourself and begin.
Hello, everyone. It is me again. I am just coming to say again, congratulations and welcome, and then also fortifying what other people have said about the work that needs to be done in the district. I am from Deep East Oakland. I went to school at the school that I currently teach at, and I've seen the changes in our community for worse since I've been there. And I'm just really wanting to reach out to our directors and ask them to really do the work, because we have been waiting and it has been difficult. But if we work together, we can get these things done. I am concerned about literacy in our district. We currently do not have a targeted literacy group. When I go to look for professional development for English teachers, there is none on our district website. And I've been trying to hunt down our literacy person, but that also lends to what's happening within our district with our students, who only 6% of which meet the SBAC requirement for literacy, the benchmark. There is a lot of work to do, and our students are suffering. Our African-American students are suffering because they don't have a specific cause to champion them, to help them with the access and education that they need. And so I'm even asking that we look at our African American students from an ELD perspective and find out how we can champion efforts and initiatives to help improve the outcomes for all of our students and concentrate on our lowest performing student groups within our schools. Thank you from Deep East Oakland.
Thank you, Ms. Hunter. Ms. Reid, does that conclude public comment?
Yes, it does. Those are all your speakers.
Great, thank you. I want to echo the call Ms. Hunter made earlier about inviting our council members to come visit our schools. I'm really excited about the partnership that I have with Councilmember Taylor, and I hope that all of you will, have the, encourage your council counterparts to come to our school and see what we're up to once we're back in school. I see, Director Hodge, that you have your hand up. Are you hoping to make a comment?
Absolutely.
Okay. We'll put 2 minutes on the clock for you.
Okay, great. Beautiful, thank you. I had my hand raised. So appreciative of the City of Oakland. This is a long meeting, but it really is, I think as the mayor said and other people said, this is that starting point, that coming together point where we show up as a city and people see us as leaders, and then we have a great responsibility to govern. I am always appreciative of God and to the ancestors who have allowed me to actually sit in this seat and be honored to serve for the last 12 years. I too want to lift up the spirit and the energy of Miss Dell, Logan Patterson, who was an educator in Oakland, but also like a strident warrior in West Oakland and also from McClymonds High School, and someone who just showed up throughout her life and even into the level of illness. But to her great husband, who is a MAC alumni, Mr. Patterson, we want on the record to acknowledge her greatness and her work that she's done. Also to Curtis Mackey, who has passed away as well, who was a great educator. He was the Peppermint Man. He worked diligently with the OAL and also in the faith-based community of West Oakland. So really grateful for their spirits. The new electeds ran pointedly against certain communities. And so I am standing on this side now, looking forward to the process of building trust with you all. I believe in the vision of OUSD. Will I be cut off after this?
Director Hodge, please wrap up. We do have business to attend to.
So, okay, great. I just wanted to know whether I was going to be just cut off, and I will wrap up. And so just wanting to acknowledge that the work that has been done through the superintendent and through her staff and through dedicated board members as well. And so that I do think that there's an incredible foundation to build a better school district. And again, I do represent communities that have not necessarily been heard and seen. And so I do hope that this is a board, a new group of leaders that will seek to build trust and seek to hear the voices other than your own communities. And so with that, I do wish you all well. God bless you. And I hope that you will work on behalf of young people and always ask the question, how are the children, and center them in all that you do. God bless.
Thank you for your service, outgoing Director Hodge. Councilmember Kalb, you have your hand raised. I don't know if you're hoping to speak to the school board or if you just left your hand raised.
No, that was from before.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Kalb. So we're going to move on to our next agenda item, which is to accept nominations for president of the board for 2021. I will entertain nominations.
Vice President Gonzalez?
Go ahead, Director Eng.
I would like to nominate you to serve in the coming year as board president.
Great, I accept the nomination. Are there other nominations?
Yes, I'd like to nominate myself for consideration.
Thank you, Dr. Hutchinson. Are there any other nominations? Okay, so Mr. Rakestraw, can you help with administering this piece?
Yes, ma'am, I can. Would you close the nominations, please?
Yep, we will now close nominations for president of the board.
Right. I will do a roll call for the election of the president of the governing board for 2021. I will ask members to please state, given that there are two nominees, the name of the nominee, either Gonzalez or Hutchinson, for whom you are voting. It requires 4 votes for election. On the roll call, Director Davis.
President Gonzalez.
Director Ng.
Gonzalez.
Director Williams.
Gonzalez.
Director Yee.
Gonzalez.
Director Hutchinson.
Hutchinson.
Director Thompson. Director Thompson, I'm sorry, you're muted.
Gonzalez.
Vice President Gonzalez.
I will also vote for myself, Gonzalez.
Vice President Gonzalez has been elected president of the board for the 2021 term.
Thank you. I believe that there'll be an opportunity for me to speak later, so I will not speak at this time. We will now take nominations for vice president of the board. I will entertain nominations.
Gonzalez, Vice President Gonzalez, I'd like to nominate Sam Davis as Vice President.
Thank you. Director Davis has been nominated for vice president. Are there other nominations?
Yes, I'd like to nominate myself for Vice President.
Okay, Director Hutchinson also nominated for vice president. Are there any other nominations at this time? Okay, we will close the nomination period. Mr. Rakestraw, can you administer an election?
Yes. Same procedure. Please state the name of the party, the nominee for whom you are voting. Director Thompson.
Hutchinson.
Director Hutchinson.
Hutchinson.
Director Yee.
Davis.
Director Williams.
Davis.
Director Ng.
Davis.
Director Davis.
I'll vote for myself, Davis.
President Gonzalez.
Davis.
Director Davis has been elected vice president of the board for the 2021 term.
Great. Congratulations to you, Vice President Davis, and to myself. I'm going to make a very brief president's address because we've had a very long meeting and I think we've all had a chance to hear a lot from each other already. So I just wanted to, first just, thank you for putting your trust and your faith in me. My commitments to you all as president are going to be open to your ideas and your feedback. To treat everybody fairly. That was not my experience when I joined the board. And so I'm really committed to making sure that everybody is really, the reason we're doing a long orientation process is people really understand their role. They understand the tools at their disposal. We're not always going to agree on everything, but I'm always going to try and empower you all to be, the strongest board members that you can be. I want to work with you all. I've heard a lot about rebuilding trust in the district, and I'm committed to doing that too, and also to building trusting relationships on our governance team. I'm going to be focused really strongly on rebuilding enrollment in OUSD. I heard Director Thompson talking about remembering when OUSD had more than 50,000 students, and I want us to do that again. I want us to be a school district that people are invested in, so that's going to be one of the things that I'm going to be focused on. Also focusing on leadership development, retention, and succession planning. I've heard people talk today, including our vice president of OEA, about the need for us to address teacher retention. And so I believe that's one of our very serious crises as a district. And I'm looking forward to working with OEA and all of you on how we can do that. I want to help us be a powerful team and a stronger district with better outcomes for students. So I'm really looking forward to working with you all on that. I believe I went to school in Castro Valley. I got a first-class public education. I want us to be as good as Castro Valley, as Alameda, as Long Beach, and all the surrounding districts that people are sending their students to instead of sending them to our schools. And then I finally just wanted to thank Director Ng, who has been, we were elected at the same time. She has been a real partner to me. I've learned as much from her as, you know, I mean, it's just really important. I hope all of you will find a partner on this board that can get you through some of the hard times that we go through. And then just some people who have really invested in me: David Kakashiba, Dan Lindheim, Chris Learned, Susan Audap, and Katie Nunez Adler. It's not possible to do this without mentors and trusted advisors, people who both will encourage you, but also will tell you the truth. So I'm really lucky to have both. And I just really want to acknowledge and thank them for the way that they've supported me, invested in me, helped me grow and learn and be a better leader. So with that, I will stop talking. We have still have one important thing to do. I don't know, Mr. Rakestraw, do we need to have any discussion at this point on do we ever take comments on from the board on the president's address, or do we just move on to the business?
You may move on.
Okay. So we will move on.
Unless your colleagues wish
would like to respond to the president's address. I am not seeing any hands raised. So let's move on to the adoption of the general consent report. This consent report covers our committee assignments. It also covers just some of the boilerplate stuff. Mr. Rakestraw, do you want to share, you know, what else is in this resolution?
Yes, Madam President. By adopting the general consent report, the board will meet its obligations under Board Bylaw 9100, which requires that the annual organization meeting, that the president of the board make appointments to standing committees and liaisons to other organizations to which the district belongs. It also requires the governing board to adopt an annual work plan. It also requires the board to adopt its regular meetings and agenda preparation and issuance schedule for the current calendar year. And it requires the board to adopt signatories on the district's financial accounts. All of these things are done pursuant to board bylaws and or state law. It's all wrapped into one motion that is the proposed resolution that is before the board. That concludes my remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Rakestraw. Colleagues, are there comments on the items on the consent report?
Yes, you know, I have a question about the committee appointments. I would definitely like for us as a board to be able to have a conversation about that before we're just placed in a committee and being asked to do it now without comment. And so since we have not had a time to even sit down and talk with each other, I think it's really important that if people believe in shared decision-making and collective leadership, that's a part of the process also.
I'm happy to have the discussion right now. I don't believe, Mr. Rakestraw, are we required to adopt committee appointments right now?
Yes, as part of the annual organizational meeting, under your board bylaws, the president of the board nominates the persons he or she is recommending sit on the committees. The nominations are subject to confirmation by the board. So you are able to hold a discussion as part of the proposed motion, which includes the appointments.
Okay, well, we can have a conversation, Mr. Hutchinson, or do you have specific concerns you'd like to raise?
I might, but I just think as a way of doing business going forward, where we have a majority of the board members are new, that would be nice to have a collective conversation about this so we can get off to a good start of acting collectively as a board instead of just these decisions being opposed upon us. And so we have not had a chance to have this conversation as a board. And I think it's really important to at least have an understanding of each other's strengths and weaknesses and maybe apply that to these committee appointments.
Okay, is there other discussion? Okay, Not hearing other discussion, Mr. Rakestraw. Did somebody want to say something? Go ahead, During.
Well, I was just going to say, perhaps going forward, because this is a compliance piece of the, since we do have to approve this at this first meeting, perhaps we can agendize a discussion in December for yours going forward around committee assignments.
That's a good idea, Director Ng. I can share that with Ms. Talkington so we can make sure it gets on the agenda for this year. Any other comments on the committee assignments or anything else that's on this consent report? Okay, colleagues, not hearing any other feedback or comments at this time. Mr. Rakestraw, can you take a vote?
On the roll call, Student Director Powell. Not with us? Okay. Director Ng?
Yes.
Director Williams?
Yes.
Director Yee?
Yes.
Director Hutchinson?
So just a point of clarification, because the committee assignments are in the consent report. So this vote includes voting on the committee assignments where this is just, we're being assigned to these committees. Because talking about December applies to future years. Okay, well, if that's the case, I abstain. And again, I want to cite my objections to this is how this new board is starting. This has not been a collective decision or even conversation. So I abstain.
Director Thompson?
Yes.
Vice President Davis?
Yes.
And President Gonzalez?
Yes.
The motion is adopted. Consent report is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Rakestraw. I believe that concludes our business at this time. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, everyone. And I think that, Mr. Rakestraw, do we need to participate? Are we needed for the rest of the city council meeting?
If you would like to stay, but you may adjourn your meeting.
Okay, so we will adjourn at this time. If folks would like to stick around, please do. I myself will be returning to my workday. So thank you, everybody.
Madam City Clerk, we're meeting to the council.
I'm calling the council back from recess. I know that we need to begin with the roll call. Councilmember Fife.
Present.
Councilmember Gallo.
Present.
Councilmember Kalb.
Here.
Vice Mayor Kaplan.
Here.
Councilmember Reid.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Here.
Pro Tempore.
Present.
Did I hear you, Councilmember Gallo? Councilmember Gallo? And President Boss. President Boss?
You're on mute, President Boss.
Here, I am here, and we are now ready for open forum. Thank you.
And Chair Boss?
Yes.
Hi, since I was chairing when we first announced this, I just thought some people might have gotten confused with how we went back and forth. So maybe we should just reiterate to the public that we did just have an intervening school board meeting, but we're now back to the council. So those who had wished to speak to the council who may have raised their hand before and then put it down because of the school board, just to be clear that this would be that time to raise it again.
Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
So we will take speakers again for the City Council of Oakland Open Forum. Anyone who was not able to speak previously can raise their hands. Looks like we've got 4 so far. It's 1:59. Let's give the public at least 1 more minute until 2, and they may have two minutes to speak, Madam Clerk.
And moving forward into open forum, for those wishing to speak, you can click the raise your hand button or press *9 if you are using your phone. As indicated by the chair, you will have 2 minutes to speak. Seeing the first speaker in the queue is Ms. Asada Olabala. Ms. Olabala, you've been allowed to speak. Please unmute yourself and begin your comments whenever you're ready.
Yes, in October, the Oakland Unified School District had a presentation by the Oakland Education Association, members of the association, mostly African Americans. Part of the document read, over the past 16 years, OUSD has lost nearly 20,000 Black students as a result of anti-Black racism in the educational system, as well as target gentrification causing a mass exodus of Black people from Oakland. Those teachers identified gentrification being an issue for losing over 16 years, 20,000 Black students. The City of Oakland, under the so-called leadership of this council, city administration, and mayor, has never addressed gentrification. But the City of Oakland, along with the City of San Francisco, is the #1 gentrified city in the United States of America. Gentrification is going on all over this country, where Black people are being pushed out or are choosing to leave because they lack job opportunities, they lack housing. That's what's going on in Oakland, and you will not address it. Black students in the OUSD have dealt with racism. 72% of African American students are not high school ready. 69% of African American students are reading below grade level. The issue of Black people, not people of color, Bass, not a marginalized community, the rest of you council members. Black people in this city are not having the same experience as Latinos or other racial groups or ethnic groups. Stop bundling together. Tyle, you said you did not want to just hear about Asian Pacific. You wanted to hear the specifics of what Asian Pacific groups were coming under the gender and race disparity study. I want to hear about African Americans.
Thank you, Ms. Olabala, for your comments. Your time has expired. The next speaker in the queue is a member with the last four digits of 0501, which I believe is Mr. Hazard. Mr. Hazard, you've been allowed to speak. Please unmute yourself and begin your comments when you're ready.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Bash, you're so hypocritical. You're going to talk about the wealthy, but yet you turn around and led the charge with giving Horton Development $99 to purchase the Kaiser Center and 99-year lease with no escrow, with no mitigating damages. How hypocritical are you? I knew back in November what the composition of the council leadership was going to be. Kaplan was going to be the vice mayor because she gets a free ride when the mayor is termed out 2 years so she could run for mayor. And I knew Chang Tao was going to be renominated to be the chair. Stop using us as pawns. Give Markeisha Smith the money she's entitled to retroactively to August. You paid Ed Riskin $60,000 to $100,000 more than she. She's entitled to that. Stop dragging your feet. Speak, listen more, and speak less. Gaiu, it's not what you say, it's what you do. You remain silent on Oakland Promise. They are not a nonprofit. You gave them $1.5 million in September. You forget, you haven't forgiven. The city auditor said you forgave because they owe the city over $4 million. Who do you think you're playing with? It's going to come back and bite you in the gluteus maximus. Every single last one of you. It's just like you want to kick when the summary judgment.
Thank you, Mr. Hazard, for your comments. Your time expired. The next speaker in the queue is Barbara Leslie. Barbara, you've been allowed to speak. Please unmute yourself and begin your comments when you're ready.
Thank you. I'm Barbara Leslie, CEO of the Oakland Chamber of Commerce. First, I would like to thank outgoing council members Reid and Haney for their service and dedication, both to their districts and to the entire city. We have worked together for many years, going back as far with Councilmember Reid, staff members, and then Oakland Mayor Elihu Harris's office. You have both been heroic in your service to Oakland, and we are grateful. On behalf of the over 1,000 chamber members, we also congratulate newly elected council members Fife and Reid, as well as our returning council members Kalb, Kaplan, and Gaiu. We look forward to working with you on Oakland's most pressing problems, including housing availability and affordability, continuing the chamber's work in supporting our unhoused neighbors, and the work we have done in partnership with our multicultural chambers and bid colleagues in support of our small businesses who have been disproportionately impacted by COVID-19. Additionally, to ensure that Oakland sets a path for economic sustainability and job growth, we will continue to deepen our workforce development work so that Oaklanders are the first to be trained and receive the jobs created by our thriving business community, thus creating true equitable economic sustainability for all. Congratulations to newly elected Pro Tempore Kaplan and President Bass. President Bass, the chamber, our leadership team, and the thousands of members and affiliates, many of whom both live and work in Oakland, are appreciative of your openness and engagement on policy issues in the past. And we look forward to continuing that open line of communication going forward, as it is more important than ever that the community come together to tackle our city's biggest challenges. And today we will be delivering to each of your offices our Oak Proud masks, designed in partnership with Oaklandish and sold by Keep Oakland Alive. As you know, a website dedicated to supporting local retail. 100% of the proceeds from mask sales are being donated to the food bank. And we hope you join us proudly in amplifying Oakland, our local retailers, and the work of the food bank in addressing food insecurity across our county. Thank you, and again, congratulations.
Thank you, Barbara, for your comments. Your final speaker is Victor Uno. Victor, you've been allowed to speak. Please unmute yourself and begin your comments when you're ready. Victor, please unmute yourself and begin your comments.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, this is Victor Uno is my husband and I'm on his laptop. This is Josie Camacho, and I wanted to make a couple of comments. 2020 has been in many ways very traumatic, sad, and a horrific year in so many ways due to COVID. But even more importantly, it's been challenging because of the challenges that we've all faced under the Trump administration through his misogynist, lack of leadership, implementing hateful and mean-spirited policies against all people of color, immigrants, and working families. This display of attacks against democracy has been unprecedented. 300,000 people have died from COVID, and we expect more to. So I'm just saying this because in the midst of the trauma, Oakland is vibrant. It's a great city of spirit and stamina, vision and hope. And I say that as a proud Oaklander. I'm Pacific Islander. My parents came from the island of Guam. All 10 of us were born and raised on 94th and Olive. Oakland is very diverse. And yes, we're also all looking at Georgia, the Asian Pacific American Labor Alliance that I'm with and Labor. We have been making calls to Georgia voters to vote for our Democratic candidates. So I want to say this, congratulations to Noel Gaiu, to Rebecca for her re-election, Carroll, and Treva for your coming in. I'm very hopeful for this new leadership. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments, Josie. And that was your last speaker, President Boss.
Thank you to the public speakers. Thank you, Madam Clerk. We are going to adjourn the meeting, and we will do so in memory of those who have died of COVID, those here in Oakland who have fallen due to gun violence, and the other individuals Madam Clerk, do you have the names of the individuals, and are you able to read them as we adjourn?
Yes.
Thank you.
We adjourn this meeting in honor of Tom Goriano, Deborah Pryor Gill, Gilda Bailey, Reverend DeQuincy Hintz, Sharon Denene, Sue Dowdy, Sharon Robinson, Yuridel Logan Patterson, Vivian Lorraine Young, all the lives lost to COVID-19 and all the lives lost to gun violence.
Okay, everybody, the meeting is adjourned. And we have new Oakland City Council members.
Thank you very much.
Oh, hold on a
And
second.
with that memoriam, our meeting is adjourned. Happy New Year and congratulations again to everybody.
And she is your new Oakland City Council president. And I tried to leave this open so that people would be able to just watch it without, any commentary from moi, right? So the council is continues leadership that is progressive, and more so now that we have Carroll Fife replacing Oakland Councilmember District 3 Lynette Gibson-McElhaney. My only concern is that I think Carroll has an approach that's more assembly person level, and I'm wondering if she's going to understand that she has to deal with the boring minutia of whether or not city services get well done. And even though by city council charter she can't tamper with city staff, people are going to expect her to go to bat for them because services are not being done. And that's going to range from police to fire, you name it, okay? Because who else do you call but your council member to solve problems with city government? And so my concern is that Carroll may misstep there. She is my council member. At any rate, this will be divided into different areas. As soon as I stop this and it processes into go from a live stream to a video. Thank you, and subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnow.com. That ends this broadcast.